This video is for educational commentary and entertainment purposes only and falls under fair use. All rights to the original manhwa, clips, and story belong to their respective creators and publishers. The gods, constellations, divine systems, and similar elements shown in this story are purely fictional and created for entertainment. A few minutes after Dokja got into the car, Ellen's warning echoed in his head. One Dokja, one sinister man with a lump, and one constellation came. Be careful. Many powerful beings in the demon realm are watching you. Dokja frowned slightly. Only 3 days left until the Demon King selection, he thought. Han Myungo, who was driving, noticed Dokja's silence. Everyone must have been tired, he said, glancing at the sleeping passengers. They fell asleep the moment we got in. Dokja asked, aren't you tired? Not at all, Myungo said with a small grin. If you're sleepy, you should rest too, Dokja-shi. Dokja smiled faintly. Now that I think about it, Han Myungo has always been a car person, he thought. After a moment of quiet, Myungo cleared his throat. Ahem, life isn't that easy, huh? Dokja blinked in surprise. That's what I think, Myungo said, eyes on the road. Sometimes things go your way, even when you didn't do much. And sometimes, no matter how hard you try, nothing works out. Dokja looked at him. Maybe only someone who's been through real hardship, someone who brought life into this world, could speak like that, he thought. Department head, Dokja said after a moment. Can I ask you something? Anything, Myungo replied. But Dokja hesitated, unsure what to say next. Myungo spoke first. It was painful. What do you mean, Dokja asked. The thing you wanted to ask about, Myungo said quietly. It's a pain that's hard for anyone to bear. Dokja smiled slightly. That wasn't what I wanted to ask. Now I'm curious, he thought. Then he finally asked, where did she come from? I gave birth with my heart, Myungo replied. Was it painful? Dokja asked. At first I wanted to kill her, Myungo admitted. It was humiliating and terrifying. I couldn't understand why I was in that situation. I kept wondering, what if I gave birth to a monster? What if one day she tears me apart and kills me? But as time passed, months went by, and I was still alive. That's when I realized something. Maybe this child saved me. So I made a decision. Whether she lived or died, I'd still give birth to her. And when she was born, she was precious. Not human, but beautiful. So much that I couldn't believe she came from me. Dokja nodded. I've seen her too, he said softly. Myungo smiled faintly. So, Dokja-shi, you should try it too. Try giving birth? Dokja said in disbelief. No, Myungo chuckled. I mean whatever it is you're thinking about. I know things haven't gone how you wanted, but don't overthink it. Just follow your heart. Whatever happens, you'll survive it. If you don't try, you'll regret it later. Dokja looked down at his mobile phone. On the screen were the words, 3 Ways to Survive in a Ruined World, Second Revision. He asked. He hesitated. Should I read it or not, he wondered. I'm afraid reading it might change me. It hurts to see the result of my own actions. And what if my future is already written? But then he thought about Myungo's words and smiled bitterly. That's ridiculous. This story hasn't even been properly born yet. He opened the file. It was just like what happened that time. In the 3rd turn, Master would have died if it wasn't for him. But I couldn't change it. That guy isn't in this turn. The 3rd turn has failed. Dokja frowned. I expected that. But why is the author sending me this? To scare me? Or to use me for the ending he wants? He sighed. I don't know what you're aiming for. But no matter what ending you want, I'll create the one I choose. A new message appeared. The 4th wall is wriggling happily. Dokja noticed the faint tremor. What happened? He asked. The scenario is progressing, Myungo replied. Scenario, Dokja repeated. That's impossible. The Demon King selection hasn't started yet. Another message flashed. Would you like to enter the hidden scenario area? Before Dokja could react, shouts erupted outside. I'm Kim Dokja, someone yelled. No, I'm the real Kim Dokja, another voice shouted. Dokja and Myungo exchanged shocked looks. New notifications appeared. Hidden scenario. Kim Dokja game is in progress. You have entered the hidden scenario area. Would you like to participate in the hidden scenario game? The Kim Dokja game? Dokja muttered. The Kim Dokja game? BU suddenly cried out. Bah! Dokja frowned. It's not BU. Hidden scenarios usually activate through the will of the star stream, just like main ones. Then why now? Outside, people kept shouting, I'm Kim Dokja, over and over. More notifications followed. The master of the industrial complex is currently absent. An emergency promotion scenario is active. Dokja sighed. The star stream must have decided I had no intention of inheriting the Duke's position. Isn't it fine now that you're here? Myungo asked. I wish that were the case, Dokja said. Aslan noticed the blue screen and frowned. What's this? The Kim Dokja game? A free participation scenario, huh? Another message appeared. The real Kim Dokja of the industrial complex is currently being elected. Dokja's expression darkened. At this rate, my name's going to be stolen. He turned to Myungo. Are you going to take part in this? Why would I? Myungo said. Then he looked at Aslan. What about you? Aslan shrugged. I don't want to be Kim Dokja. Unless he's the Demon King of Salvation or something, Dokja sighed. So they're trying to separate me from the Demon King of Salvation title. Then I'll go alone, he said. Myungo frowned. Will you be okay? Who knows what's happening over there? No matter what, Dokja said firmly, I have to go. This is my industrial complex. He stepped out, and a blue screen appeared before him. Hidden scenario. Kim Dokja's proof of identity. Category hidden difficulty, unknown clear condition. Prove to the constellations of the Kim Dokja industrial complex that you are truly Kim Dokja. Time limit, 3 hours. Reward, become the Duke of the Kim Dokja industrial complex. 200,000 coins. Failure. All Kim Dokja candidates will have the same appearance until the scenario ends. The candidate who earns the most points from constellations will succeed as the real Kim Dokja. More notifications appeared. A new Kim Dokja candidate has entered. There are 3 hours left in the scenario. You must be acknowledged as Kim Dokja by the constellations. You are the 1131st Kim Dokja candidate. Dokja stared blankly, then laughed softly. What kind of scenario is this? Voices echoed around him. Everyone, you think the constellations will recognize you just like that? Show us you're the real Kim Dokja. Dokja's eyes narrowed. Looks like the Dokjaebas from the Bureau made it to the demon realm after all. The interference must have been intense. Someone shouted, I'm Kim Dokja. Look. Dokja realized their faces were blurry. So that's how I must look to the constellations too, he muttered. This feels weird. There's no ID, no certificate. How am I supposed to prove that I'm the real one? The new hidden scenario appeared on the screen. Kim Dokja's proof of identity. Category, hidden. Difficulty, unknown. Condition, prove to the constellations of the Kim Dokja Industrial Complex channel that you are the real Kim Dokja. Time limit, 3 hours. Reward, become the Duke of the Kim Dokja Industrial Complex and earn 200,000 coins. Failure? Nobody knew what that meant yet. All the candidates who joined this scenario would have the same face and body until it ended. The only way to win was to gather the most points from the watching constellations. The chaos started immediately. Dozens of people began shouting that they were Kim Dokja. One yelled that he was the prophet. Another said he was the Demon King of Salvation. The noise was ridiculous, but Dokja couldn't help being a little impressed by how confident some of them were. A few notifications popped up on the blue screen. Constellations were already showing interest in certain candidates. Someone even shouted, I am the king of a kingless world. Dokja couldn't help thinking, not bad, that's at least creative. Another message followed. One of the fake Dokjas had already earned 20 points. Dokja frowned slightly, wondering why so many events were popping up around the area. A new notification appeared. One of the constellations, the prisoner of the golden headband, was arguing that the real Kim Dokja was a brave person. Dokja sighed to himself. Even the constellations were debating who he really was now. Nearby, someone suddenly drew a sword and cut down another participant, shouting that this was proof that he was the real Kim Dokja. Dokja, watching from the side, thought that the way the man moved looked oddly similar to white purity star techniques. A lot of constellations seemed impressed, and another round of messages popped up showing that candidate 312 had earned 100 points. That was when Dokja finally pieced it together. He remembered something Ellen once told him, how after they left, they ran into trouble with informants from other industrial complexes. Suddenly it made sense. Some of the so-called Kim Dokjas here weren't even random participants. They were spies from other industrial complexes, people who had received insider information about him. They were pretending to be him using things they had been told. If he lost this game, then a fake Kim Dokja could end up being chosen for the Demon King selection. The thought made his stomach twist. Another message appeared, this time from the constellation demon-like Judge of Fire, saying that the real Kim Dokja loved companionship. Dokja muttered under his breath, Uriel. Right after that, one of the candidates fell to his knees and started shouting, begging someone named Yu Jung-hyuk to wake up. Dokja blinked at that. Uriel, who had been watching him from the beginning, wouldn't be fooled by something that fake. Yet another message appeared saying the demon-like Judge of Fire was crying. The same candidate gained 300 points. Dokja sighed. Maybe Uriel was just too emotional for this kind of test. Then came a new message. The abyssal black flame dragon announced that the real Kim Dokja was definitely a Chuni. Dokja stared at the notification, totally lost. What kind of proof is that supposed to be? The constellation insisted that the real one would know what a true Chunibyu was. Dokja didn't even know how to respond to that. Still, the weirdness continued when one of the candidates started acting dramatic, saying nonsense about reader view and the life of a reader. The abyssal black flame dragon was apparently pleased, awarding that candidate another 300 points. Dokja clenched his jaw. How the hell does that guy know those words? He didn't even say them like that in the first place. It felt like someone had stolen his lines from a book and used them against him. At this rate, he'd lose his name to these ridiculous impersonators. He needed to remind the constellations of the things only he had experienced with them, things no fake could copy. But before he could come up with a plan, more chaos spread. One candidate shouted dramatic lines about grinning through pain, earning 250 points. Another yelled that they loved Chinese dresses and garter belts, earning even more. Dokja rubbed his face in disbelief. He finally thought of a solution. Instead of fighting, maybe he could send an indirect message as the Demon King of Salvation. That would make the constellations recognize him immediately. But when he tried to do it, the system message only gave an error. He cursed quietly, realizing his time was running out. A message appeared. There is 1 hour left in the scenario. Dokja exhaled heavily. He really didn't want to use this method, but he was running out of options. If he killed all the other candidates, he'd be the last one left, making it obvious who the real Kim Dokja was. But that wasn't his way. He remembered Jungyuk's voice telling him once that something like that didn't suit him, and he was right. Dokja asked himself quietly, then what does it really mean to prove who I am? As Dokja was still thinking about what it truly meant to prove himself, one of the fake candidates started shouting about electrification, the ultimate technique taught by the paradoxical white purity. Dokja froze for a moment. That phrase, he recognized it instantly. Before the man could finish declaring himself as the real Kim Dokja, lightning split the air, striking him down. The poor guy screamed as the light swallowed him completely. Dokja blinked, half in shock and half in disbelief. What? Did he just do it? The light was so strong that it lit up the entire area. He muttered to himself that he had expected someone's arrival sooner or later, but definitely not this fast, and certainly not in that flashy of a way. The size of that aura could only belong to one person. Then came the booming voice that left everyone frozen. It was Kyrgios. His voice echoed like thunder as he demanded to know where his disciple was. The crowd of fake Kim Dokjas started panicking immediately. Some pointed at themselves, yelling that they were the real one. Others shouted, "Master, it's me!" But before any of them could finish, lightning came crashing down again and again. Screams echoed through the air as candidates were struck out of existence. The constellations watching were astonished. Notifications filled the sky. Kyrgios' presence alone seemed to shake the entire scenario. Dokja stayed still, quietly watching. He realized something in that moment. There was never really a way to prove who he was. Not through words, not through points, not through imitation. A faint blue glow appeared around him. A notification flashed. His exclusive fable had activated. Another line followed. The fable returnee's disciple has begun its story. Dokja took a deep breath. The truth was that his identity wasn't built only from himself. He was a mix of countless stories, people, and moments. Things that didn't belong to him alone. Some distance away, Aslan looked around in confusion. He muttered under his breath, wondering what kind of madness was going on and why everyone suddenly claimed to be Kim Dokja. Dokja ignored the chaos and called out to Yang Hanyung. Aslan turned toward him, surprised. He hesitated before asking why Dokja's face looked so strange. Dokja only replied by asking if Aslan had learned the sky-breaking swordsmanship. Aslan said yes, of course he had, then asked why. Dokja told him to use it on him immediately. While Aslan looked unsure, Dokja's mind was already racing. He remembered everything he knew about Kyrgios. The man had taken 3 disciples over his long life. The first one after his first transcendence, and the second 50 years later after his disciple was killed by the heavenly demon sect. After that tragedy, Kyrgios stopped taking students altogether. Those 2 disciples and the chaos they caused were what had made the paradoxical white purity, Kyrgios Rodgrim, famous. Kyrgios' shadow suddenly loomed over Dokja. The master's voice came out low and sharp as he demanded to know why his disciple looked like that. Dokja lowered his head and bowed deeply, greeting his master with respect. Kyrgios wasn't satisfied. He asked again, louder this time, why Dokja was in such a miserable state. Inside, Dokja remembered the story behind their bond. Kyrgios had taken him in not because he was strong or special, but because of a simple feeling, a strange familiarity, like he had known this boy forever. That single feeling had made him decide that this would be his final disciple. Dokja whispered quietly that he had been to the first Murim. Kyrgios' expression changed instantly. He examined the traces on Dokja's body and said they were marks of the sky-breaking swordsmanship. Then he demanded to know whether Dokja had fought against a disciple of the sky-breaking sword saint or the saint herself. Dokja lowered his gaze. He told his master that he never wanted to be seen like this. His voice cracked slightly as he admitted that he had defiled the name of white purity. Then with trembling hands, he dropped to his knees and begged to be killed. Kyrgios was taken aback for a second. He said quietly that he did come to punish him, but Dokja's thoughts drifted for a moment. He remembered the legend of Kyrgios' rage. When his disciples had died, Kyrgios stormed into the headquarters of both the heavenly demon sect and the blood demon sect. His attack had destroyed half of the 100,000 great mountain ranges, leaving them bare and lifeless. The blood demon sect had been forced to retreat from the first Murim altogether. Kyrgios' voice brought Dokja back to the present. He asked why his disciple was so eager to die, calling him a fool. Then with a fierce expression, Kyrgios said something that made the air itself tremble. If this had truly happened in the first Murim, then the world was about to learn a new truth, that there existed a paradox beyond even the sky-breaking sword. Aslan looked at Dokja with concern. He asked if what he did wasn't too much. What if Kyrgios decided to kill the sky-breaking sword saint? Dokja answered calmly that it was the only way to force him into action. He thought quietly to himself. By now, Kyrgios must have already received a sub-scenario that allowed him to gain the plausibility to intervene in the first Murim. Krigios also hated the outer gods, so once he discovered the solution, he'd be pushed to help the sky-breaking sword saint. When the blue screen appeared before Krigios, he grinned. He muttered something under his breath, realizing what Dokja had done. He knew he had been manipulated and laughed bitterly at it. Dokja sighed inwardly. He was scared of what would follow, but that was the best he could do for now. Aslan glanced at him again. She asked if he was okay, noticing the fatigue in his voice. Dokja had already healed himself with fragments of a healing fable, but Aslan still looked worried. She said she was more concerned about them. Dokja was puzzled and asked why. He then realized she was right. Krigios wasn't a card meant to be used here. He had planned to summon him later, during the Demon King selection, but now he had used him to save the sky-breaking sword saint. Dokja wasn't sure if it was the right choice, but at least it was one he could call honorable. Then, several notifications began to appear before him. The demon-like judge of fire is watching you with anxious eyes. Some constellations are smiling knowingly at you. Dokja raised his head and spoke with quiet determination. Everyone had seen everything. Now it was time to decide. He said he was the real Kim Dokja. Then one by one, the system responded. The constellation demon-like judge of fire acknowledges you as the real Kim Dokja. The prisoner of the golden headband acknowledges you as the real Kim Dokja. The queen of the darkest spring acknowledges you as the real Kim Dokja. Many constellations are acknowledging you as the real Kim Dokja. You have been recognized as the real Kim Dokja. The hidden scenario has been completed. The candidates all turned toward him, bowing deeply. They shouted in excitement, saying the real Kim Dokja had returned the true master of the industrial complex. 200,000 coins have been obtained as a scenario reward. You have officially inherited the former Gilbard Industrial Complex. The former Gilbard Industrial Complex has been declared as the Kim Dokja Industrial Complex. Your notoriety is spreading throughout the Demon Realm. You have become the Duke of the Demon Realm's Industrial Complex. The scenario ended, and the world slowly returned to normal. Dokja later sat with Mark. Mark apologized, but Dokja reassured him, saying he did well and had tried his best. Mark mentioned the news of wars spreading everywhere and reminded Dokja not to fight alone. Dokja simply nodded. The capacity of the factory has decreased due to the industrial complex's population declining. Dokja stared at the message, his expression unreadable. Forcing people who didn't want to fight was meaningless. He said they couldn't win with only the strength of the industrial complex. Their true enemy wasn't just another complex, it was something far greater. He thought to himself that the industrial complexes he needed to face were Melon and Birkin. Melon's Nebula, Vedas, and Birkin's Nebula, Papyrus had formed an alliance. The fourth wall is wriggling. Dokja closed his eyes. I need your help, he thought. The fourth wall is shaking nervously. He tried to check his status, but the wall resisted. The fourth wall is baring its fangs with hostility. He spoke gently, asking it to listen first. He promised to feed it plenty of fables once everything was over. He only needed to confirm something that could decide whether he lived or died here. The fourth wall is frowning and staring at you. Then it spoke. Kim Dokja is dangerous without me. Dokja nodded slightly. He knew that already, but he still needed to do this. The fourth wall paused, then allowed it. 10 seconds only. But it warned that all channels must be blocked. Dokja immediately called out to Bio and told her to play advertisements across every channel. Bio followed his command, filling the broadcast with a single repeating ad. Now is your chance. Healing potion. Many constellations are confused by the sudden advertisement. Dokja asked if that was enough, but the fourth wall said no. Dokja frowned. If Bio had already blocked the channels, then what else could it be? He realized it. The hidden scenario of Kim Dokja's proof of identity. The dokebi behind that scenario was still inside the complex. That scenario had always felt strange. It seemed to know too much, as if someone had already predicted what the constellations wanted. Only one dokebi would do something like that. Dokja looked up and said firmly, Byung, you can come out now. Back at the shelter, chaos had filled the air. Miss, where are you? Someone shouted. Han Soo-young raised her hand lazily. I'm back, she yelled. Then she looked around. Kim Dokja's mom. Raise your hand if you're Kim Dokja's mom. She kicked a man out of her way and muttered that he was blocking her path. Yusanga rushed to help the man up, apologizing and asking if he was all right. She then turned to Soo-young. Han Soo-young si. Han Soo-young groaned. Ah, go away if you're just going to nag again. Yusanga scolded her, saying she was being reckless around patients. Han Soo-young replied that she was also a patient. At that moment, Lee Seol-hwa entered, helping two wounded people inside. Han Soo-young smirked. Lee Seol-hwa's here too. What a mess. Did you know she was supposed to be a real villain? Yusanga blinked. How did you know that? Han Soo-young replied. Why wouldn't I? I know everything Kim Dokja knows. He keeps changing things, saves those meant to die, and spares those who should have gone. Yusanga hesitated before asking, Are you talking about the revelation? Han Soo-young nodded. The future is in pieces because of him. The story should have followed its original path. A new voice interrupted them. If that were the case, you and Dokja would just be NPCs. Both turned around in shock. The woman standing there smiled faintly. You look healthy, Han Soo-young, and it's been a while, Yusanga si. What brought you two here? Lee Suk-young looked at Han Soo-young and Yusanga and said that if things had gone the way they were originally meant to, both she and Kim Dokja would have just been characters moving along a script. Then she greeted them properly, saying it had been a while, and asked what brought them there. Soo-young didn't bother answering politely. She told her to use her fortune-reading skill. Lee Suk-young raised a brow and asked why Soo-young was suddenly depending on something so small when she usually acted like she had everything under control. Soo-young sighed and said confidence alone couldn't fix everything. Lee Suk-young explained that she could not see concrete futures, only whether something was a blessing or a misfortune. Soo-young already knew this. Still, she insisted. Knowing even the state Kim Dokja was in was enough. The Korean peninsula could fall apart depending on what was happening over there. She mentioned she'd been hearing strange rumors from the constellations themselves. Lee Suk-young suddenly smiled, which annoyed Soo-young, but she began the reading anyway. Soo-young leaned in immediately. How is he? Is he okay? Lee Suk-young told her that about a week ago he had middle fortune, 3 days ago, misfortune, the day before that, allure. Soo-young almost choked hearing that one. Then yesterday, he had brief blessing. Soo-young demanded to know what he had right now. Lee Suk-young showed the mirror, glowing with written characters. It read, Great misfortune. Soo-young froze. Yu Sanga recognized the meaning behind it too. It was a call for help. Lee Suk-young asked quietly, almost as if the answer had already been decided. So which one of you is going? Meanwhile, at the Kim Dokja industrial complex, Kim Dokja called for Bae-hyung to come out. Bae-hyung appeared, acting dramatic as always. Mark stepped out so they could talk. Bae-hyung looked tired and irritated. He admitted he had been demoted. Dokja commented that things didn't seem to be going well without him. Bae-hyung told him to hurry and come back then. Dokja thought about it. After his death, the contract between them had vanished. Their relationship wasn't what it once was. He didn't dislike Bae-hyung anymore, but the Dokkaebi was still tied to the bureau, and the bureau was a danger in itself. Still, Bae-hyung suggested something unexpected. They could run a joint channel, even if it was only in the demon realm. Dokja asked if he was serious. Bae-hyung told him just to consider it and left, giving him space. Dokja couldn't help wondering why Bae-hyung was being so sincere now. A system message spread across the complex. Constellations were unhappy that the channel was blocked. Dokja ignored them and told the fourth wall he needed to check his status. The fourth wall warned him not to look too long. The attribute window opened. Character summary. Name Kim Dokja. Age 28. Sponsor. None modifier. Demon King of Salvation. Exclusive attributes. Lamarck's Giraffe. Legendary. Demon Realm. Duke. Legendary. Scenario Interpreter. Apostle of. Exclusive skills. Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. Bookmark character list. Fourth wall. Reading comprehension. The titles unsettled him. Scenario Interpreter. Apostle of something hidden. Why were the grades missing? A new notification appeared. The effect of the Scenario Interpreter attribute was activating. Dokja tried to reason it through. Reading comprehension, understanding, interpretation. But it felt far deeper than that. Suddenly, dizziness hit him. His vision blurred and his stomach flipped. The fourth wall surged back on its own, cutting the connection sharply. Dokja felt something calling him. Something beyond the wall. A notification suddenly popped up saying, Your understanding of the character Kim Dokja has increased. Kim Dokja blinked in confusion. What? He said out loud, completely stunned. Then came a voice, calm but teasing. Well, you were told not to look for too long. Before he could even react, a flash of lightning tore through the area. Everything went white, and Kim Dokja collapsed. Aslan rushed over immediately, kneeling beside him. Kim Dokja! Hey, wake up! Dokja slowly opened his eyes, groaning. Aslan stared at him in concern. What the hell just happened? Right then, another notification appeared. Exclusive skill, fourth wall, has been strongly activated. Dokja let out a weak grin. Aslan frowned. What happened to you? Dokja blinked a few times. How long was I out? I don't know, Aslan replied. I came running because of that sudden lightning. Lightning? Dokja repeated. Yeah, Aslan said. You know those sparks that show up when plausibility gets broken? They just appeared out of nowhere. Dokja frowned. You're telling me they struck like actual lightning? Aslan shrugged. I've never seen it that huge before. Honestly, it scared me. Dokja looked down at his coat, noticing the damage. To think the storm hit so hard that even a self-repairing coat took this much damage, he thought. Aslan asked again, Are you okay? Dokja nodded. I'm fine. Then in his head, he added, Actually, I feel lighter. A new notification appeared. Your understanding has increased due to the effects of the exclusive skill, reading comprehension. Dokja stared blankly for a second. Come to think of it, he thought. There was that message that called me a character. Character, Kim Dokja. He remembered similar cases before, where people became part of the story itself. He thought back to their character summaries that once showed up. Dokja's expression darkened slightly. Those who came from outside the original novel but ended up being absorbed into it, he thought. He decided to test something. Attribute window, he muttered. A message instantly appeared. The fourth wall is glaring at you. Then came a scolding voice. You looked for 15 seconds, Kim Dokja. I'm not showing it to you anymore. Sorry, Dokja said quickly. But let me ask you one thing. That thing behind the wall, what the hell is that? There was no response. After a moment, the wall murmured faintly, "Sleepy," Dokja sighed. He fell asleep? Damn it. A new notification appeared. You have obtained a new fable. The fable, One Who Gazed into the Abyss, has been obtained. This fable has no grade. Dokja frowned. One Who Gazed into the Abyss? Why did I get this fable here? It's supposed to belong to someone else in the original story. How is this even connected to me being labeled a character? He stared into space, thoughts running wild. Have I become a character now, or am I still a reader? Can I still change the future? Aslan's voice broke his thoughts. Kim Dokja? Dokja looked up at Aslan. How nice would it be if my own situation were as clear as his eyes, he thought. If only I could read about myself the way I can read those eyes. He wondered, what if I use Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint on myself? He could feel something inside him, something unfamiliar. I don't know if it was left behind by the writer or if it just became part of me as the world changed. But I need to find out, even if it takes time. A sudden voice echoed nearby. Kim Dokja? Both Dokja and Aslan turned sharply. It was Bi-hyung. Bi-hyung? Dokja muttered. Bi-hyung looked nervous. The storm came out of nowhere, so I wanted to check on you. Dokja thought silently. Busy, huh? This sneaky guy was watching me the whole time. Don't get the wrong idea, Bi-hyung said quickly. I just came back because I forgot to tell you something. Dokja asked, what did you forget? Aslan whispered, confused. He's talking to a dokaibi? Bi-hyung ignored him. This Demon King selection is going to be a huge event. And not just that, there's also a fight over the broadcasting rights. You might have guessed it, but I'm not the only dokaibi sent to the demon realm. Dokja narrowed his eyes. Then, there's another dokaibi, Bi-hyung said. Someone you actually know, and that one holds a pretty big grudge against us. Dokja thought about it. There are only 2 dokaibi that fit that description, and one's already in Murim. A notification popped up. The dokaibi Dokak is inviting you to his channel. Dokja muttered. Dokak? Yeah, Bi-hyung said. That's him. Anyway, be careful, and watch your own channel too. Then he suddenly stopped. Wait, where's your dokaibi? Dokja froze. Dokaibi? He looked around, realization dawning. BU! Immediately, the channel number B1-7623 lit up, and messages began flooding in. The Constellation Ball General of Justice is greatly moved by your return. The Constellation Maritime War, God is welcoming you with a smile. Many constellations are celebrating your return. The Constellation Demon King of Salvation is asking about the whereabouts of the dokaibi BU. The Constellation Ball General of Justice is wiping his head awkwardly. The Constellation King Hungmu the Great is clearing his throat and making a weird gesture. Some constellations say they'll answer your questions if you pay coins. Dokja sighed internally. Right, Korean constellations don't have much money. Aslan asked, could she have been caught in the storm? Dokja shook his head. No, there's no trace of her. How could it be? It's like someone erased BU's existence completely. He thought deeply. BU's the only dokaibi with an independent channel in the demon realm. And the demon realm itself is the only scenario controlled solely by the dokaibi. Then Bi-hyung cursed. Damn it, those bastards! The Weni men. Dokja frowned. The demon realm was originally ruled by the Weni men. But if a dokaibi without bureau ties managed to set up an independent channel there, far away, BU screamed, Bah! From inside a cage, Bi-hyung clenched his teeth. Leave it to me, Dokja. I'll find those bastards. The dokaibi's pride is on the line. She might not be part of the bureau, but I can't just stand by and watch. Meanwhile, a Weni man carrying the cage laughed as he ran. The age of dokaibi is over. My child, you'll be the first Weni man with a channel, the one who will free slaves from this wretched scenario. Suddenly, light flashed from above. Oi! Bi-hyung's voice boomed. Let her go, right now! The Weni man froze. A senior dokaibi? Bi-hyung glared. Leave that kid and get lost if you know what's good for you. The Weni man hissed. This dokaibi isn't even with the bureau. Why do you care? Bi-hyung's voice turned sharp. Because I gave birth to that child. Even if I can't raise her, I can at least act like her parent. Parents? The Weni man scoffed. Haha, since when did dokaibi act like humans? If you really had compassion, where was it for my ancestors? Bi-hyung frowned. Sorry to break it to you, but I wasn't even born back then. Then who will pay for our suffering? The Weni man shouted angrily. Who will repay the pain of having our story bag stolen? Bi-hyung shot back. What nonsense are you talking about? That fable's well known. The story bag was returned to your people, at double the price too. The Weni man stared at Bi-hyung and said, It seems you really don't know anything. You dokaibi never returned the true possession of the Weni men. Bi-hyung snapped back. I don't know anything about that. Just hand over that child. If you don't, the Weni man cut him off. There are many types of evil in this world. The first evil is the one that makes someone miserable. The second evil is the one that enjoys such misery. Bi-hyung's eyes tightened. Damn it, I made a bold entrance. But this is my first time facing a Weni man. The Weni man continued. But the most disgusting evil is the evil that displays another's misery for others to see. Cold sweat formed on Bi-hyung's forehead. This is bad. This is seriously bad. A notification appeared. The authority of the giant fable has been used. The Weni man clicked his tongue. Did your superiors never teach you? You must never use that power in front of a Wenny man. Another notification flickered. The power of the giant fable. Bi-hyung's expression froze. The system window is malfunctioning? This kind of interference is only possible for the highest-ranking dokaebi, those at or above the great dokaebi. How? How can a Wenny man do this? The Wenny man stepped forward. Foolish dokaebi, your mistake was coming here alone. Notifications exploded across Bi-hyung's vision. The fable song of the Wenny men is in effect. Your resistance has drastically decreased due to species attribute. The Wenny man's hatred has weakened your mind. The Wenny man's grudge has sharply decreased your combat power. Bi-hyung gritted his teeth. Shit. So this is why seniors told me to avoid the Wenny men. The Wenny man laughed. We cannot exert this much power on other species, but dokaebi, that's a different matter. Now die under the gaze of the constellations you idolize so much. Messages rushed across the blue screen. The constellation king, Hungmu the Great, is shocked by the power of the Wenny men. The god of wine and ecstasy is frowning at the source of the power. The prisoner of the golden headband is clenching his fist. The demon-like judge of fire is enraged. The Wenny man grinned. A perfect day. I'll obtain a magnificent fable. Bi-hyung trembled. Damn it. At this rate, I'll be squeezed into dokaebi juice. I need to contact the bureau. But can I even hold on long enough? Shit. Then a voice came from behind him. What a stupid dokaebi. Confronting a Wenny man while in your main form. A blade flashed. Yoo Jung-hyuk had arrived. He cut off the hand of the demon gripping Bi-hyung. The Wenny man recoiled in shock. A notification blinked. The constellation demon-like judge of fire is cheering loudly. Bi-hyung fell to the ground, groaning. Ugh, you are... Yoo Jung-hyuk didn't look at him. Move. He walked toward the Wenny man. So you're the demon of the horizon. That's right, the Wenny man replied. It has been a long time. Puppet of the oldest dream. Yoo Jung-hyuk said. Except this is my first time seeing you. The Wenny man laughed. Of course, you will never know. You could die 1,000 times and live 10,000 more, but you will never know. Because you are... Before he could finish, Yoo Jung-hyuk struck first. The Wenny man stumbled back in shock. Why don't we both withdraw? You have no business with me. This situation has nothing to do with... Before he could finish again, Yoo Jung-hyuk severed another hand. Hand over Shin Yu-sung, Yoo Jung-hyuk said coldly. The Wenny man hissed. So you were after this dokaebi too? Even if a human like you gained a channel, it would be useless. I don't need a channel, Yoo Jung-hyuk replied. How absurd. You don't even know the value of this dokaebi, the Wenny man said. Do you understand? This world is impossible, even for you. Even with Kim Dokja, you cannot defy the flow of the star stream with just one variable. The Wenny man suddenly screamed. Stop! You don't understand. You haven't accumulated enough turns yet. I am from another parallel dimension. If you kill me, you are making a mistake. You must not turn me into your enemy. Yoo Jung-hyuk cut off his leg. I already made a promise, he said. A memory flashed. Yoo Jung-hyuk asking Shin Yu-sung, what was the identity of the demon who helped you cross the world lines? The memory faded. I promised her I'd get revenge, Jung-hyuk said. The Wenny man backed away in panic. Wait, how? You die here, Jung-hyuk said. His sword pierced the Wenny man. The Wenny man screamed. I will curse you across every dimension. I will never forgive you. A final stab ended his words. The Wenny man gasped one last time. No, O king. Then his body dissolved into nothing. Bi-hyung stared, speechless. A notification appeared. You have obtained a new legendary grade fable. You have attained an achievement that has never existed before. The fable, one who severed the lump of a Wenny man, has been obtained. All Wenny men in the demon realm have become hostile to you. Yoo Jung-hyuk walked over to the cage, broke it open, and lifted Bu out. Bu burst into loud sobs. Notifications appeared one by one. The constellation demon-like judge of fire is tearing up. The bald general of justice is offering the towel he wiped his head with. The maritime war god is writing a poem out of pure emotion. Yoo Jung-hyuk tucked Bu into his pocket. Stay there. Another notification flashed. The constellation demon king of salvation is watching you. Yoo Jung-hyuk looked up at the sky. Get lost, Kim Dokja. The stars overhead vanished. Yoo Jung-hyuk frowned. Dokja let out a quiet sigh, muttering, feels like things are kind of sorted out now. Right then another message popped up. The constellation demon-like judge of fire is smiling brightly. Dokja rubbed his temple, thinking, so it really was Uriel who dragged Yoo Jung-hyuk over there. Good thing I used Jang Han-young's wall to send her that message. Honestly, Yoo Jung-hyuk would have ripped him in half if things didn't work out, especially after that whole mess with the sky-breaking sword saint. Aslan stepped beside him. Yoo Jung-hyuk should have wrapped things up over there by now. We should start preparing. The air suddenly shifted, sharp enough to raise goosebumps. Dokja muttered, already? Seriously? A voice boomed in the sky, annoyingly cheerful. Oh ho! Looks like we've got some impatient constellations again, even though there are still 48 whole hours left before the Demon King selection. I thought about waiting, I really did. But starting things a bit early won't hurt anyone, right? Dokja's eyebrow twitched. Doc Gak, of course. A message appeared. A new sub-scenario has been obtained. The sub-scenario skirmish has started. Sub-scenario skirmish category. Sub-difficulty. Clear condition. Defend or seize the fable core of the industrial complex within the time limit. Time limit, 48 hours. Rewards. Attacking side. Qualification to join the Demon King selection. Defending side. Qualification to join the Demon King selection. 200,000 coins. Dokja clenched his jaw. That bastard, he would pick now of all times. When neither Bi-hyung nor Bu is here, another string of messages flashed. A few constellations are dissatisfied with the unfair way Dogak is hosting the event. Some constellations are requesting a plausibility conformity screening. Dokak's voice answered, all fake sympathy. Ah, yes, I knew some of you respectable constellations would think that. True, there is a little unfairness, isn't there? The attackers and defenders don't have the same numbers, their stats are totally unbalanced. So, I've adjusted the difficulty for you. In this sub-scenario, all constellations will have equal status levels. Now, it doesn't matter which side they're on. Another notification appeared. All constellations participating in the following scenario will have fixed stats. Dokja frowned. So the attacking constellations got hit with the same penalty, but I still can't tell if my own stats dropped or went up. A notification appeared. A few constellations are still protesting that this scenario is against plausibility. Dokak spoke. Ah, don't say such things. Have you all already forgotten? Scenarios are fun when they're difficult. A notification appeared. You are currently the master of the Kim Dokja industrial complex. You must defend the fable core of the factory from the constellations of the attacking side. Aslan asked, Kim Dokja, what are you going to... Kim Dokja jumped onto a high rock. To all my citizens, this must be the first time I've greeted you in person. Calm down and listen to me. One of the citizens shouted, It's Kim Dokja. That man is the Duke. Kim Dokja continued, I cannot protect all of you. Aslan reacted quietly. Huh? So don't die in vain here. Leave and find your own way of survival. I personally recommend the Yu Junghyuk Industrial Complex. Kim Dokja muttered to himself. It can't be helped. This is the only way to save them. In this scenario, there must be no unnecessary sacrifices. A notification appeared. Would you like to free the citizens from your industrial complex? Kim Dokja answered, I accept. A notification appeared. All citizens of the industrial complex have been freed from your influence. The citizens of the Kim Dokja industrial complex have obtained the escape scenario. The citizens can now choose another industrial complex. You have obtained a new legendary grade fable. The fable has been obtained. Kim Dokja looked at the people. Please leave, everyone. I'll hold them off until you escape. 4 immense energies. At least 4 constellations are approaching. A notification appeared. The citizens of the industrial complex are honoring your noble sacrifice. Kim Dokja muttered, If Bi-hyung were here, he'd be laughing, saying I'm reciting a scripted line, but he's out cold far from here. You did well, Bi-hyung. He turned to Aslan. Jung Han-young, take Han Myung-go and the sky-breaking divine sovereign. Run without looking back. Don't even think about fighting them. Aslan shouted, What? I don't want to. Kim Dokja yelled, Do it even if you don't want to. Go straight to Yu Junghyuk. Hurry! I'm what those bastards are after. Kim Dokja moved to where the fable core was and grabbed it. A notification appeared. The factory has stopped running. Kim Dokja muttered, Priority is the fable core. There's no reason to stay inside the industrial complex to defend this. The constellation approached. Kim Dokja spoke, Is this what you want? If you want it, then try taking it from me. Dokja then keep on running. At a corner, Dogak laughed. What a sight, watching you run around so frantically. Esteemed constellations, did you stay in Bi-hyung's channel just to watch someone like that? Kim Dokja muttered, still running and dodging the constellation blast. That bastard. If Bi-hyung were here, I wouldn't be suffering in this sub-scenario. But there are things I can do because he isn't. Dokja then went into hiding. Kim Dokja called out, requesting a higher Dokkaebi bag membership tier. A notification appeared. The Dokkaebi in charge is currently absent. Tier update will be automatically executed. 500,000 coins have been consumed. Congratulations! You have become a diamond member of the Dokkaebi bag. The item list is updating due to your tier increase. You can now see VIP exclusive items. The screen displayed 2 items, Random Fable Box, Fable Fusion Box. Kim Dokja muttered, If Bi-hyung were here, he'd hide this list even if it killed him. These items are reminders of his embarrassing past. A notification appeared. You have purchased 10 Random Fable Boxes. You have purchased 1 Fable Fusion Box. A total of 400,000 coins have been consumed. Kim Dokja thought, this item was one of the few gambling tools to obtain fables using only coins. Even semi-myth grade fables could appear, so incarnations and constellations swarmed to it and went bankrupt, with a probability of under 0.001% for high historical grade fables, and semi-myth nowhere near 0.00001%. The rest, trash. A notification appeared. Would you like to use the random fable box? The results appeared. Fable, earring for the ear obtained. Fable, nose ring for the nose obtained. Fable, Monk who can't cut their hair obtain. Fable. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes obtain. Kim Dokja muttered, just like I saw in Ways of Survival. The lowest historical grade, all bad fables. Version 1.3 had more than an 80% chance of giving body-related fables. The nose ring and earring were the most common. Blue text appeared. Historical grade fable. Nose ring for the nose description. Can make anything look like an accessory if pierced on the nose. Anything. Historical grade fable. Earring for the ear. Description. Can make anything look like an earring if pierced on the ear. Created as a pair with nose ring for the nose. Kim Dokja muttered, however, with this item, name Fable Fusion Box version 1.3 grade. Description. Used to fuse different types of fables. Very low chance of generating a higher grade fable. Kim Dokja muttered, originally this item wasn't exactly useful either, but in the Fusion Box version 1.3, there was a bug. Suddenly one of the constellation yelled, where are you? Kim Dokja, still in his hiding place, muttered to himself, when certain fables are mixed, the first fuser is guaranteed to receive a predetermined fable. Dokja then stepped out from hiding. A blast hit him immediately but didn't weaken him. He then grunted. The constellation keeps throwing blasts at him, but Kim Dokja keeps dodging. A notification then appeared. Legendary grade fable has been obtained. A notification appeared. The fable whimsical misinterpreter is searching for the target of the misinterpretation. The constellations groaned. A notification followed. The constellation dog who threw himself into the flames is conscious of the constellations around him. The other constellations growled, give me the fable core. More notifications came. The constellation Nouveau Riche, Snake Miser, is glaring at you. The nail-eating rat is coveting your nails. Kim Dokja stood in front of them, the fable core in his hand. He asked calmly, what if I don't want to? He muttered quietly, 3? Where did the other one go? A notification appeared. Many constellations are looking forward to your battle. The constellation is looking forward to your performance. Kim Dokja muttered, they must be curious about my combat power, since I haven't actually fought after becoming a fable-grade constellation. Dokja laughed from somewhere above. How foolish! Are you really thinking of fighting them? Kim Dokja muttered. All 3 in front of me have the exact same combat power as I do, thanks to the penalty forcing equal strength in this scenario. And then the chaos began. The nail-eating rat's energy smashed into him. Dokja then grunted. Before he gained balance, the dog who threw himself into the flames spewed fire. Kim Dokja dodged, but the ground behind him burst into flames. Notifications rolled in. The exclusive skill character list has been activated. The proficiency of all your skills has increased due to the fable, one who gazed into an abyss. The effect of the character list has been amplified. You are able to read constellations with lower status than you. Then more notifications. You can now read info on Nouveau Riche, Snake Miser. You can now read info on Nail-Eating Rat. You can now read info on Dog who threw himself into the flames. Additional constellation info will be randomly generated by character list. Kim Dokja muttered, as I thought, that fable isn't here. Suddenly, the Snake Miser grabbed him in one massive hand. Give me the fable core, it demanded, squeezing harder. Kim Dokja groaned. A notification appeared. The constellations who love cruel stories are excited. Some constellations want to see your body torn apart. Still caught, Kim Dokja gritted his teeth. I have one question. What story do you think you're telling by living like this? The Snake Miser paused. Kim Dokja continued. You're quite the sorry bunch, you know? Usually constellations have at least one king-class fable. A notification flickered. The fable whimsical misinterpreter is paying attention to your words. Kim Dokja said, since you've always fought things weaker than you, there's no way any of you have a king fable. The Snake Miser shouted, what nonsense? A notification cut him off. The fable whimsical misinterpreter has found a story to misinterpret. Kim Dokja muttered, this fable doesn't make me stronger. It awakens the potential inside fables that haven't shown their true power. From above, Dogak suddenly panicked. Wait, that power is... A notification appeared. The fable whimsical misinterpreter is starting the interpretation. Kim Dokja muttered, however it manifests, it's always a surprise. A notification rang out. The fable king of a kingless world has been misinterpreted. World has begun telling its story. A voice echoed, this world remains without a king. His sword was born renouncing all thrones and ruling over all beings who are not kings. Using the distraction, Kim Dokja slipped out of the Snake Miser's hold and sliced through its hand. He muttered, just because our combat power is equal doesn't mean our fable statuses are. Notifications came crashing in. Some constellations are amazed by your use of the fable. The constellation Big Dipper is watching you closely. The nail-eating rat is preparing to turn tail and run. The nail-eating rat squeaked nervously. Kim Dokja pointed his glowing sword. A bright light appeared over his head. Both constellations froze in shock. Notifications followed. The fable king of a kingless world has activated. All beings without the qualification of a king must bow before your majesty. The nail-eating rat backed away trembling. Don't come closer, Kim Dokja thought. Only those with a king fable can resist this authority. Another wave of notifications. The constellation prisoner of the golden headband is pleased. The demon king of lust and wrath is watching you. Kim Dokja stepped forward with his sword raised. A notification appeared. The constellations of the absolute good system are frowning at your cruelty. The constellations groaned in pain as he swung his sword through their bodies. More notifications. The Demon King, Silverclaw Owl, is rejoicing in your execution. 2,000 coins have been sponsored. You have killed the incarnation form of the constellation Nail-Eating Rat. Kim Dokja raised his sword. You should have been prepared for the consequences. Notifications followed. You have obtained part of the fable of Nail-Eating Rat. The constellation Nail-Eating Rat has fallen into a deep sleep with a scream. The abyssal black flame dragon is delighted by your madness. The demon-like judge of fire is looking at you with sad eyes. The dog who threw himself into the flames groaned. Kim Dokja muttered, "This one's different from the other two scum of the zodiac. But if I leave him, certain constellations will complain." A notification appeared. The constellation dog who threw himself into the flames groaned. "The flames is pledging allegiance to you." Kim Dokja muttered, "Damn it, more constellations are approaching, and my mana's almost gone." Another notification appeared. The effect of the fable whimsical misinterpreter has come to an end. The light above him faded. Kim Dokja muttered, "Fighting them right now would put me at a disadvantage." He looked at the dog constellation, then hopped onto him. "Let's go to the Yu-Jung-hyuk Industrial Complex." Dokja looked at the constellation dog that threw himself into the flames. The dog was still standing there with that big serious face, like it was ready to charge into another fire just because someone breathed too hard. Dokja patted it once and said, "Let's go to the Yu-Jung-hyuk Industrial Complex." The dog let out a deep, heroic sounding and started running with Dokja on its back, like some VIP taxi service for stressed constellations. Then notifications exploded everywhere. Sub-scenario skirmish is over. You have successfully protected the Fable Core for the given time. The constellations that were chasing you will back off. A few constellations that were chasing you are disappointed. Prisoner of the Golden Headband is yawning and asking if it's over yet. Devil-like Judge of Fire is rubbing her sleepy eyes in joy. Lazy Dragon is nodding in approval. A few constellations are pointing their fingers at you for your cowardice. Yeah, apparently some constellations were impressed, and others were just straight up calling him a coward. Typical audience. After some time, Dokja arrived at the Yu-Jung-hyuk Industrial Complex and got off the heroic dog. More notifications appeared. You have obtained 200,000 coins as a reward. You have obtained 2 anvil stones for transcendental equipment. You have obtained the fable, the one who stood up against the 12 Chinese zodiac signs. Dokja looked at the dog and waved his hand. "You can go now. You don't have to be loyal to me." The dog whimpered softly. Dokja blinked. "What? I said you can go." Another notification rolled in like a judgment. Constellation Devil-like Judge of Fire is looking at the constellation dog that threw itself into the flames with pity. Then the story behind this dog popped up. This guy's real name is Dog of Osu. He is the dog who wet his whole body to put out the flames in a grass field to stop his drunk owner from burning to death. Dokja paused. That was, wow, emotional damage. He sighed and looked at the dog again. "Are you going to come with me?" The dog whimpered again in the softest, most pitiful way. Dokja rubbed his forehead. "Then get a bit smaller. You're too in the way right now." The dog instantly shrank into a smaller form and happily trotted beside him. A moment later, Aslan spotted him and waved dramatically. "Kim Dokja!" Aslan ran over and looked him up and down. "Hey, are you all right? And what is that dog?" Dokja answered calmly. "I picked him up on the way. What about the others?" Aslan replied. "They're busy guiding the people. Now, what's his name?" Dokja replied casually. "Osu." The dog froze like someone just revealed a secret identity. Its eyes widened. A notification appeared. You named the constellation dog that threw itself into the flames. Constellation dog that threw itself into the flames is very touched. He is much more loyal to you. Dokja stared at the dog and thought, if I knew this guy was going to be this emotional about a name, I would have taken 10 minutes to think of something cooler. Suddenly, a beam of light shot through the sky. A notification appeared. The beginning of the Demon King selection is almost here. Dokja muttered under his breath, "It's coming!" Then more notifications suddenly filled the screen. Many constellations have entered the channel. Many demon kings have entered the channel. Constellation Queen of the Darkest Spring is looking at you. God of Wine and Ecstasy is looking at you. Mass Producer is waving at you. The 25th main scenario is here. Power has been reduced due to excessive main scenario scripts. Dokja sighed. Of course his power got reduced. He rushed here without even clearing the 20th main scenario properly. What did he expect? More text appeared. Main scenario Demon King selection is beginning. Main scenario number 25. Demon King selection type. Clear condition. Team up with the helpers to win in the battlefield of mythologies. Official succession of the Demon King throne. Failure. Death. This scenario lets you recruit helpers. A dokebi will give additional explanation. The stage for the scenario began loading. The system displayed. The main participants are able to recruit helpers with agreement. Dokja mumbled. A scenario with death as the penalty. If I lose, a notification answered him immediately. You are a main participant of this scenario. He finished the sentence quietly. I will die. Then another hostile notification appeared. The constellations of the Meladon Industrial Complex are expressing their hostility toward you. From another direction, the constellations of the Birkin Industrial Complex are expressing their hostility toward you. Dokja could almost feel the dangerous pressure from both sides. Then Bi-hyung's voice echoed loudly above the entire stage. You have waited for a long time, constellations. The Demon King selection will begin soon. First, thank you to Mass Producer for creating this stage, Dokja muttered. Oh, Bi-hyung is back. A new notification popped up. The game Battlefield of Mythologies is loading. Bi-hyung continued, this will not be a simple fight. You will be placed into teams depending on your industrial complex. The rules are simple. Each team can have 7 members. Each member will have a different position and role. 1 tank, 2 close-range dealers, 2 long-range dealers, 1 support, and 1 all-rounder. A full team of 7 fighting against other teams in the Battlefield of Mythologies. A notification added, Constellation Mass Producer is smiling. Dokja muttered, he copied a bunch of games again. Well, that suits him, Bi-hyung continued. There are 2 ways to win. First is to kill everyone else. Second is to steal the opposing team's symbol. He announced the 4 sides west, Kim Dokja Industrial Complex East, Birkin Industrial Complex South, Meladon Industrial Complex North, Yu Junghyuk Industrial Complex. Then Bi-hyung said, however, one industrial complex is already on the brink of collapse before the game even began. To be fair, management has decided to merge the 2 weakest into 1 team. Another notification hit Dokja's eyes like a slap. You are currently a participant of the Yu Junghyuk Kim Dokja Industrial Complex. Dokja stared at the wording and grumbled inside. I was already stressing about having to fight Yu Junghyuk. Did Bi-hyung merge us on purpose? And why is it Yu Junghyuk? Kim Dokja? My name starts with K. This should be Kim Dokja, Yu Junghyuk Industrial Complex. He ignored it and asked, Jang Han-young, where is Yu Junghyuk? Aslan replied, what? You didn't see him? He went looking for you. Dokja froze. What? He felt a bad feeling creeping in. He tried using Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, unable to connect to the target. Dokja groaned. Damn it! How do I find him? Then a blue system chat window popped up. Secret meeting in daylight. Yu Junghyuk has entered the chat. Kim Dokja? Hey, can you hear me? Dokja muttered. Right, I still have this. Notifications appeared. Using item secret meeting in daylight. There are 38 unread messages. Dokja nearly choked. 39? What the hell? Then Yu Junghyuk's messages started appearing one after another. Kim Dokja, I saved you. Why did you disappear though? I don't have time to play along with your childish tricks. I am going to kill you if you do not come back. I am not kidding, Kim Dokja. I am going to find you. Dokja stared at the messages. This guy did not know where I was. How exactly was he planning to find me? Dokja quickly replied, come back, you idiot. I am in your industrial complex right now. He waited. Nothing. No reply. No read indicator. Notifications appeared. Please recruit all helpers within 10 minutes. You are able to recruit 6 helpers. Dokja nodded. All right, I will pick my helpers. Another notification. All constellations in the channel are listening to you. Myungo immediately panicked. Leave me out of this. I won't be helpful. You know that better than anyone. Dokja said calmly. I know. Just join for the head count. You won't die for real, even if you die in the game. It's only 1 game. Myungo shouted. But it will hurt for real. Dokja answered. Yeah. Myungo tried running away. Then no, I don't want to. Dokja grabbed him like a misbehaving child. Thanks. A notification appeared. You have obtained Demon Count Han Myungo as a helper. Aslan stepped forward. I am participating, of course. Another notification. You have obtained Dimension Traveler Yang Han-young as a helper. Remaining number of helpers to recruit 4. The Heaven-Destroying Divine Sword Soldier barked loudly. Another notification. You have obtained Poem Reading Heaven-Destroying Divine Soldier as a helper. Remaining number of helpers to recruit 3. The Divine Sword Soldier barked again, this time at Osu, looking offended. Dokja asked, huh? What is it? Yes, he is a new teammate. Heavenly Divine Sword Saint barked again, sounding judgmental. Dokja shrugged. If you don't like him, it cannot be helped. A notification popped up. You have obtained Dog That Threw Itself into Flames, Osu, as a helper. Remaining number of helpers to recruit 2. Dokja thought to himself, one of the 2 remaining spots is Yu Junghyuk. Then the system displayed, main participant Supreme King Yu Junghyuk has been registered. This individual is not nearby. Once the individual accepts the offer, he will automatically be summoned to the battlefield. There are 5 minutes remaining. Dokja muttered. Now there is 1 spot left. A notification appeared. Constellation Demon King of Salvation is looking at the other constellations. Dokja raised his voice. Does anyone want to be a helper? Notifications flooded in one after another. The constellation Demon King of Salvation was silently observing the others. The Queen of the Darkest Spring wore a smile no one could read. The Bald General of Justice wiped his head again and again. The mass production maker complained about his aching back. Many constellations avoided Kim Dokja's gaze altogether. Dokja clicked his tongue. This was bad. A blue screen unfolded. Main Scenario 25. Demon King Selection. Main Category. Difficulty Unknown. Clear Condition. Form a team with helpers and win in the mythical battlefield. Time limit unspecified. Reward, official succession to the Demon King position. Details unknown. Failure, death. Helpers could still be recruited. Further explanation would follow from a dokebi. Dokja turned to Yang Hanyung. He asked if she had contacted the constellation he mentioned. What did the maritime war god say? Hanyung answered that the response was vague. He said he would think about it. Dokja already expected that. The maritime war god did not want trouble with other nebulae. Even so, the conditions were already laid out. If he wanted to step in, this was the best chance. Another notification appeared. The bald general of justice finally lowered the towel in his hands. Dokja asked about Goryeo's finest sword. No reply at all. The bald general of justice tightened his towel with a determined look. Dokja sighed inwardly. So that was how it was going to be. The best option was gone. Time to move to the second best. The bald general of justice nodded at Dokja as if he had already made up his mind. Dokja raised his voice. He called out Asmodeus. He reminded him of his promise. The demon king of lust and wrath looked down at him. He agreed to help, but only from the third round onward. Before that, he wanted to see whether Dokja was worth backing. Dokja cursed under his breath. Typical demon king behavior. Still, at least the opposing side did not seem to have a demon king among their helpers yet. More notifications appeared in front of him. The Meladon Industrial Complex selected the General of Vanara. They also selected the one who stabbed out his own eyes. The Birkin Industrial Complex chose the last pharaoh. Meladon added the progenitor of humanity. Dokja clenched his jaw and called out another name, Uriel. The Nebula Eden hesitated. Demon kings across the demon realm turned their attention toward Eden. Dokja grimaced. Right, this was the demon realm. Eden would not move easily here. He tried again and called the great sage, equal to heaven. The prisoner of the golden headband scoffed openly. He clicked his tongue at the other industrial complexes like they were beneath him. Dokja muttered another curse. The abyssal black flame dragon watched with clear amusement. Hanyung suggested the flame dragon as a helper. Dokja refused immediately. Why? He was not as bad as he looked. Still no. Dokja shut it down. That left only one option. The bold general of justice gripped his bamboo spear, clearly waiting. Dokja told Hanyung to send a message to the secretive plotter. Hanyung froze. The secretive plotter? Constellations reacted instantly. Some were shocked. Some were uneasy. Others tried to stop him. Hanyung hesitated and asked if Dokja was sure. The modifier did not look right. A blue screen appeared. The following modifier does not exist within the star stream. Dokja asked if she entered it wrong. Hanyung snapped back he was not an idiot. The name was clear. Secretive plotter simply did not exist. Constellations exploded into motion. The prisoner of the golden headband looked interested. The abyssal black flame dragon grew curious. The master of the skywalk activated his network. Many constellations started searching for information. 1 minute remained. Dokja stared at the countdown. His mind raced. 40 seconds. 25 seconds. The bald general of justice suddenly stood up and shouted. Dokja bowed slightly and called him properly. Samyong Daisa. There was no other choice. The bald general answered by manifesting his incarnation through plausibility. He descended onto the battlefield. It had been a long time, he said calmly, greeting Kim Dokja. Notifications followed. The bald general of justice had joined as a helper. All helpers had been recruited. The air shifted. The mythical battlefield manifested within the demon realm. A voice echoed. They had entered the grand battlefield, Armageddon. The patron of the young and travelers frowned as if he recognized the place. The game would begin in 3 minutes. Demon kings glared at one another openly now. Hostility spread through the channel. Hanyung said the atmosphere felt wrong. Dokja told everyone to stay alert and check their assigned roles. The lineup appeared. Bald General of Justice as tank. Divine Soldier as melee dealer. Hanyung and Do as range dealers. Han Myungo as support. Kim Dokja as all-rounder. Han Myungo was already shaking, muttering that it would hurt if he died. Dokja ignored him. They were listed as the Yu Jung-hyuk Kim Dokja Industrial Complex. Hanyung asked where Yu Jung-hyuk was. Dokja said he likely spawned somewhere else. A notification confirmed that Yu Jung-hyuk had responded to the summon. Dokja assumed he was already on the battlefield. Hanyung looked at the map and recognized the layout. It looked like one of those AOS games. Destroy the enemy base, Dokja corrected. Close, but not exactly. What they had to protect was not a base. He pointed at a stone near Han Myungo. Words were engraved on it. Messenger of Heaven, Gatekeeper of Hell. Han Myungo panicked immediately. Dokja told him to hold on to it and guide it carefully. It was important. Han Myungo begged Dokja to take it instead. Dokja refused. Important objects were usually held by main participants. That was exactly why Myungo should hold it. They needed to break the enemy's expectations. Han Myungo protested. He had never played a game like this. Dokja calmly explained there were only 2 ways to win. Steal the enemy's sentence or wipe out their entire team. Han Myungo said stealing sounded easier. Usually, yes. Han Myung got fired up and volunteered immediately. Dokja told her not to rush. Solo moves would only make things worse. They needed a plan. 2 dogs barked loudly. Dokja sighed. He forgot 2 of his teammates were dogs. That meant there was only one person he could rely on for coordination. Dokja turned to Samyong Desa. Samyong frowned. Dokja's words were difficult. He did not quite understand. Then he suddenly brightened. A game? What was that supposed to be? In any case, he asked if all he needed to do was kill the barbarian intruders. Constellations from the Korean peninsula groaned in frustration. Others corrected him loudly. It was AOS, not whatever he just said. Dokja nodded awkwardly and said it was close enough. Samyung smiled and declared he would lead them. Namyoung shouted for everyone to move. Dokja yelled from behind, telling him to wait, but it was already too late. Notifications burst out all at once. The game had started. All participants' stats were adjusted to match the game difficulty. Only 10% of total output power was allowed in the first round. The restriction would loosen as the rounds went on. From the stairways ahead, glowing figures descended. Reinforcements were being generated. Lowest-ranked angels joined their side. Osu barked wildly, ready to pounce. Dokja quickly stopped him, telling him they were allies. Dokja called out to Namyoung again, telling him to slow down. Then he turned to Han Myung-go and told him to stay in the back and not try anything reckless. Aslan suddenly shouted that the map was shifting. The terrain settled into place. A valley cut through the middle, forests spreading out on both sides. Dokja recognized it instantly. The valley housed the Imugi of Apocalypse. The forest held the fallen seraph. Monsters were scattered everywhere, each one offering buffs if defeated. Dokja shouted again for Namyoung to stop charging ahead. Namyoung laughed it off and told him to trust him. He claimed he had seen countless wars already. Then he raised his voice and called upon the spirit of the Korean peninsula. Constellations reacted immediately. Hwang San-beol's last hero cheered him on. The revered one of tranquil splendor joined in. Hing Hung-mu the great donated coins. Namyoung grew visibly fired up. He shouted for the enemy to come at him, calling them savages and promising to crush them all. And then everything went wrong. He clashed head-on with an opposing helper. For a brief moment, he looked confident. Then his expression changed. The enemy's movements were sharper than expected. A blow landed. Notifications followed without mercy. The General of Vanara defeated the Ball General of Justice. The Meladon Industrial Complex gained a point. First blood. Dokja immediately ordered everyone to run. They bolted without looking back. The enemy team chased them relentlessly. Han Myung-go shouted in disbelief, cursing the monk for telling them to trust him. One of the opposing helpers nearly caught Dokja, but he barely dodged in time. Osu lunged in to block the attack. The dog roared as he collided with the enemy. A notification appeared. Osu was sacrificing himself to protect Dokja. Flames burst from Osu's mouth, forcing the enemy back. Then another helper struck him from behind. Osu screamed. More notifications appeared. Osu warned Dokja to run. The helper Osu had died. Dokja clenched his teeth. 2 members down already. He looked around desperately for the heaven-destroying divine soldier, but there was no sign of him. Suddenly, Han Myung-go grabbed Dokja's leg and apologized. Before either Dokja or Aslan could react, Myung-go activated his stigma. One-footed feather step reached level 10. Myung-go shot forward like a blur. Dokja muttered that he should just keep running. Judging by that level, he must have abused the skill countless times. Aslan asked what they should do next. Dokja pulled her aside. They hid themselves within the terrain. The bushes concealed them completely. Nearby enemies could not detect their presence. Dokja spoke quietly. They could not win head-on anymore. Their only option was to stall and force the other teams to clash with each other. Aslan asked if that would really be enough. Before Dokja could answer, a voice echoed across the battlefield. The speaker called out the Demon King of Salvation by name. He spoke as if they were bound by fate, surprised that Dokja was still alive. Something, he said, had gone wrong with his reading. Oedipus King, he continued, saying there was no point in hiding. He already knew where Dokja was. Dokja told Aslan not to worry. It was a bluff. Oedipus could not read his future. Oedipus laughed and said Olympus was still willing to accept him. A blue screen appeared in front of Dokja. It displayed a short message telling Oedipus to stop talking nonsense and leave. Oedipus paused, clearly amused. He said it was interesting, and that they would see how long Dokja could keep this up. A blue screen appeared right in front of Oedipus. The message on it was blunt and sharp, telling Oedipus to stop talking nonsense and leave. There was no politeness in it, no room for interpretation. Oedipus reacted with a short pause. Then he laughed softly, clearly amused. He said it was interesting and added that they would see how long Dokja could keep this up. The connection faded. Around them, the battlefield had not calmed down at all. If anything, it had grown worse. Fires burned across large sections of the terrain. Explosions echoed in the distance. Players ran across the ground while others flew overhead, skills colliding mid-air like fireworks meant to kill. Dokja and Aslan stayed hidden, pressed close to the cover they had chosen earlier. They did not move. They did not breathe loudly. They waited. Suddenly, Dokja clenched his left hand and let out a low grunt, pain flashing across his face. He leaned slightly forward, forcing himself not to make a sound. He muttered under his breath that he just needed a little more time, just a bit longer. The chaos outside continued. More figures rushed past their hiding spot. Shadows flickered across the ground as skills activated and faded. The smell of smoke grew heavier. Then Dokja grabbed Aslan's hand tightly. He told him to run. The command came so suddenly that Aslan barely had time to react. He stumbled forward, eyes wide in surprise before instinct kicked in. The moment he turned his head to look back, a hostile player was already closing in on their position. Before the attack could land, lightning tore through the air. A notification appeared. Helper Thunder Eating Bird had died. Participant Yu Jung-hyuk had killed Helper Thunder Eating Bird. Another notification followed almost immediately. Team Industrial Complex Yu Jung-hyuk Kim Dokja had earned 1 point. The surrounding players froze for a split second. Dokja let out a short breath and spoke to Aslan while pulling he forward. This was exactly why they had stalled. This was what they were waiting for. One of the opposing players noticed them and started to grin, recognition flashing across his face. He opened his mouth to shout, but the sound cut off midway. A notification flashed. The constellation, the one who stabbed his own eye, was screaming in shock. That constellation released a violent surge of energy toward Yu Jung-hyuk, clearly intending to overwhelm him in one strike. The attack was fast, precise, and cruel. Yu Jung-hyuk did not panic. He stepped into the attack, sword already moving. With one clean slash, he cut through the energy and the constellation behind it. Another notification appeared. The constellation general of Banara was antagonizing Incarnation Yu Jung-hyuk. Before anyone could process what had just happened, Yu Jung-hyuk disappeared from sight. One of the constellations searching for him shouted in confusion, asking where he had gone and ordering the others to find him nearby. More notifications flooded in. Many constellations were shocked by the movement of Yu Jung-hyuk. Dokja and Aslan stayed hidden behind a thick tree, watching everything unfold from a distance. Neither of them spoke. There was no need to. A constellation with enhanced vision suddenly stiffened. He shouted that Yu Jung-hyuk was over there. Blue energy surged forward, aiming to pin him down. The attack never landed. A new set of notifications appeared. The constellation prisoner of the Golden Headband was excited. The constellation prisoner of the Golden Headband donated 20,000 coins to Incarnation Yu Jung-hyuk. Participant Yu Jung-hyuk killed the helper general of Banara. Dokja allowed himself a small, satisfied breath. He had expected Yu Jung-hyuk to take down at least 2 enemies once he entered the field. Anything less would have been disappointing. Aslan stared at the scene, eyes wide. He asked what Yu Jung-hyuk even was at this point. A human did not move like that. Dokja answered with a faint grin that it was something like a monster. As he watched Yu Jung-hyuk move through the battlefield, Dokja remembered something from long ago. Back when the world was normal, back when games were just games, Yu Jung-hyuk had been one of South Korea's top professional gamers. It was not just a title, it was a trait engraved into him. No matter the genre, no matter the rules, he adapted faster than anyone else. His control, his reactions, his decision-making were all absurd. This scenario was just another game to him. One of the constellations spotted Yu Jung-hyuk sprinting across the battlefield and cursed loudly. He ordered the others to chase him down immediately. Dokja narrowed his eyes. They were still in the early stage of the game. Everyone's abilities were heavily restricted. Under these conditions, even constellations would struggle to defeat Yu Jung-hyuk in a one-on-one fight. A constellation raised his arm and hurled a spear infused with divine power. A notification appeared. The constellation Father of Humanity declared that arrogant descendants needed to be taught a lesson. Dokja clicked his tongue. That one was also on the Meladon Industrial Complex's side. Helping Yu Jung-hyuk now was risky, but letting him get cornered was worse. Another notification appeared before Dokja could move. Participant Yu Jung-hyuk was activating Sentinel Golem's blessings. Divine Relic Robin Hood's strongbow was maximizing its user's hit rate. The battlefield shifted again. Stone-like energy wrapped around Yu Jung-hyuk's body as his presence grew heavier. At the same time, his aim sharpened to an inhuman level. The bow glowing faintly in his hands. The pressure rolling off him was sharp enough to make the air feel tight. Dokja felt it even from where he was hiding. He clicked his tongue quietly. That bastard. When did he even get something like that? Before Dokja could think further, the helper known as the one who stabbed his own eye released another surge of power. The attack shot forward like a compressed beam, aimed straight at Yu Jung-hyuk's chest. Yu Jung-hyuk reacted instantly. The bowstring snapped. The arrow flew before the attack could land, forcing the helper to stagger back mid-cast. His eyes widened in disbelief. He shouted that Yu Jung-hyuk was not even a close-range dealer. Then Yu Jung-hyuk vanished. The helper froze, confusion flashing across his face. He looked around wildly, trying to track Yu Jung-hyuk's position. Where did he go? Before the thought fully formed, Yu Jung-hyuk was already behind him. A notification appeared. Participant Yu Jung-hyuk has been adjusted by the effect of his role. The helper barely had time to turn his head. The arrow pierced through him. He let out a rough grunt, blood spraying as the impact forced the air out of his lungs. Dokja and Aslan watched from the shadows, both stunned by the speed of it. The helper screamed, rage and pain mixing together. He shouted that he would kill Yu Jung-hyuk, that this kind of trick meant nothing. He never finished the sentence. Another arrow hit, then another. The arrows came relentlessly, fired back to back with no pause in between. Each shot landed cleanly, precise to the point of cruelty. The helper staggered, barely staying upright. He muttered that Yu Jung-hyuk was fast, too fast. A new notification appeared. Sentinel Golem's blessings are stacking. The helper raised the staff he was holding. Red light bloomed around it, pulsing with unstable energy. Dokja's eyes narrowed. That was bad. He recognized the effect immediately. Sentinel Golem's blessings was not something you could casually activate. To trigger it, the user had to land 20 consecutive attacks without missing. Only then did the buff activate, and once it did, it could inflict unconsciousness. And the countdown had already started. Dokja muttered under his breath, calling Yu Jung-hyuk insane. Where did he even get access to something like that? The helper sneered and pointed the staff toward Yu Jung-hyuk's side. He said arrows like that meant nothing. Yu Jung-hyuk fired again. The effect activated. The notification appeared instantly. Helper. The one who stabbed his own eye is unconscious. 3 seconds. That was all it lasted. But 3 seconds was more than enough. Yu Jung-hyuk crossed the distance in an instant. His sword flashed once. Another notification followed. Participant Yu Jung-hyuk has murdered helper, the one who stabbed his own eye. The battlefield seemed to pause for a heartbeat. Then more messages flooded in. Participant Yu Jung-hyuk's name is spreading far and wide throughout the battlefield. Team Industrial Complex Yu Jung-hyuk, Kim Dokja, has earned 3 points. The tension spiked. Another helper stepped forward, fury written all over his face. He cursed Yu Jung-hyuk openly, calling him arrogant. Yu Jung-hyuk answered with movement. Martial arts energy surged around him as he closed in. The helper's eyes widened in shock. He recognized the technique immediately and scoffed, saying martial arts like that were something Bahadra once used. He mocked it, calling Yu Jung-hyuk a parasite who had inherited scraps. Still, there was a strange edge to his voice. He admitted that Yu Jung-hyuk was not bad. He had seen countless transcendentals over the years, yet none had moved quite like this. None had shown this level of control. Yu Jung-hyuk dodged the incoming energy attack effortlessly. He replied calmly that it seemed the helper had never met his master. The clash intensified. Energy tore through the ground as the two exchanged blows, the air cracking with each impact. Skills collided, canceling each other out or detonating midair. The surrounding terrain suffered for it, trees splintering and stone turning to dust. From their hiding place, Aslan shifted restlessly. He told Dokja they should help. Dokja shook his head. Not yet. He told him they needed to be patient. This was not the moment to jump in blindly. Dokja watched Yu Jung-hyuk closely, eyes sharp. If things went the way he expected, Yu Jung-hyuk would find his opening soon. That was always how it went. He did not force opportunities. He created them by surviving long enough. All he needed was time. Only time. The chaos between Yu Jung-hyuk and the remaining helpers continued to escalate, the battlefield trembling as if it were struggling to keep up with him. Meanwhile, Dokja and Aslan were still tucked away in their hiding spot. Dokja suddenly spoke up, calm but urgent. He told Aslan to send a message to the wall. Aslan blinked. To the wall? He asked what exactly Dokja meant. Dokja answered without hesitation. Father of humanity. Aslan's mouth dropped open. The one fighting Yu Jung-hyuk right now? That one? Before Dokja could say anything else, the notification popped up. A 15-year-old middle school girl has sent a message. Father of humanity froze mid-fight when the message appeared in front of him. His eyes widened in shock. He shouted, asking what these messages were supposed to be. Aslan kept sending them. Father of humanity snarled, accusing them of using dirty little tricks. Dokja just smiled to himself. He thought about the past, about how Jung-Heewon evolved from crouched man into the judge of destructive evil, about how Lee Hyun-sung learned under Mountain Breaker. And now it was Yu Jung-hyuk's turn. The messages kept popping up around Father of Humanity, surrounding him, pulling his attention away bit by bit. Inside Yu Jung-hyuk's mind, his thoughts were sharp and focused. His master had countless traits. Regressor was one. Master of all trades was another. The adversary of gods and demons was tempting too. But the one he envied the most? Dominator of amusement. That one. While Father of Humanity was distracted by the endless messages, Yu Jung-hyuk wasn't wasting a single second. He was quietly stacking everything together, syncing his movements, his timing, his understanding of the battlefield. Then the notification hit. Yu Jung-hyuk's trait Pro Gamer is evolving. At that moment, Yu Jung-hyuk looked like someone who understood everything about the game. Legendary rank trait, Dominator of Amusement. Dokja felt it instantly. He muttered to himself that, in Yu Jung-hyuk's eyes right now, every attack Manu threw out would look like raw data, numbers, patterns, predictable sequences. As long as this stage was a game, Yu Jung-hyuk was closer to a god than any constellation watching from above. The fight resumed in full force. Father of Humanity finally broke free from the message trap and rushed forward, drawing his arrow and aiming straight at Yu Jung-hyuk. Too slow. Yu Jung-hyuk dodged cleanly, slipped into range, and slashed. Blood sprayed. The notifications rolled in, one after another. Participant Yu Jung-hyuk has killed Helper Father of Humanity. Participant Yu Jung-hyuk has achieved Living Legend. Participant Yu Jung-hyuk is beginning to write a new legend in the battlefield of mythologies. Participant Yu Jung-hyuk has entered the battlefield rankings. Then the system announced it. The time for the first game is up. The winning team will be chosen based on points earned within the time limit. The first round winning team is Yu Jung-hyuk Kim Dokja Industrial Complex. Aslan laughed out loud, clearly pleased. He grabbed the stone they were protecting. The words carved into it read, "The petals of Snowflower are scattering across the cruel demon realm." He asked if they really won. Dokja nodded. Yeah, they did. Another notification appeared. Each participant has earned 100,000 coins as a reward. Dokja exhaled slowly. He noted that the heaven-destroying divine soldier who had vanished earlier, had actually been holding back other constellations from surrounding Yu Jung-hyuk. He had even stolen the other team's seal. Still, Dokja knew better than to relax. New notifications followed. The Demon King of Lust and Wrath is looking at you with interest. Many constellations are cheering for the Yu Jung-hyuk Kim Dokja industrial complex. Dokja muttered that the guy was confident. Too confident. Yu Jung-hyuk suddenly spoke up, saying that he wasn't the one who sent the message. Dokja stared at him, confused, asking what he was talking about. Before he could get an answer, Bu started yelling, "Ba ba ba," loud enough to cut through the noise. Another notification popped up. The constellation Devil-like Judge of Fire is complaining about not being able to do anything. Right after that, the Devil-like Judge of Fire collapsed, completely exhausted. Yu Jung-hyuk caught her before she hit the ground. Bu sniffled nearby. Dokja asked Yu Jung-hyuk where he had been this whole time. Near Meladon, Yu Jung-hyuk replied casually. Dokja asked why he went all the way there. Yu Jung-hyuk said he needed an item. When Dokja asked what item, Yu Jung-hyuk shut him down immediately. He said he got it already and that it was none of Dokja's business. He added that starting from an unexpected location during the Demon King selection was more helpful. Dokja admitted it was a good call. Bi-hyung's voice echoed across the battlefield, laughing as he announced that the game wasn't over yet. The second round would begin in 5 minutes. Dokja gathered his team and told them they only needed one more win. If they took the first 2 rounds, the game would end. Then he paused. He looked at the Grandmaster of the River Mist and asked why he was in that state. The Grandmaster replied that he probably used too many plausibility points. Dokja crouched next to Osu and called his name. Osu whimpered weakly. Myungo was sitting on the ground, drained, saying he couldn't move anymore. Dokja reassured him, telling him he did great. Yu Jung-hyuk stepped forward and said he would make up for them. Dokja asked if he knew any constellations. Yu Jung-hyuk said he wasn't sure they would arrive in time, but he would put them on the list anyway. Dokja wondered silently who Yu Jung-hyuk even had connections with at this point. Yu Jung-hyuk then said they needed to change their strategy for the second round. Their positions too. Aslan questioned it, saying they could just repeat what they did last time. Dokja shook his head. Yu Jung-hyuk's traits were powerful, but not invincible. Aslan frowned, saying he looked pretty invincible to her. Dokja said he had an idea. On the other side, the layout for the Meladon industrial complex appeared. The enemy team was already discussing their own plan. One constellation suggested teaming up with the Burkan industrial complex. Another complained about working with papyrus losers, but was quickly shut down. This wasn't the time to be picky. Father of Humanity spoke up, saying they let their guard down in the first round, but that wouldn't happen again. New notifications followed. Father of Humanity has purchased a special game talent trait. Thunder-eating bird has purchased the item Idiot to Game Master in a week. Dokja commented on how ridiculous the spending was. Father of Humanity raised his hand and ordered his team forward. He said the enemy team's all-rounder was just one incarnation. Kill him, and the game ends. Chaos erupted again as Yu Jung-hyuk clashed with the remaining helpers. Helper Thunder-eating bird was the first to spot him. He shouted and released a surge of energy. Yu Jung-hyuk raised his weapon and blocked it, the impact rattling the ground beneath his feet. At the same time, Helper Meladon Oedipus moved. He lifted his spear, timing it perfectly. Now! Energy surged forward. Yu Jung-hyuk twisted aside, barely avoiding the blast, but General of Banara seized the opening and lunged. The spear grazed Yu Jung-hyuk's side. Cook! Blood spilled. One of the helpers stared in disbelief. What? Why didn't that kill him? His stamina, don't tell me. Dokja's voice cut through the noise. Heaven-destroying divine soldier. The divine soldier descended like a falling star and slammed straight into Thunder-eating bird. Both crashed into the ground. Cook! The remaining helpers froze for a split second. Meladon Oedipus immediately turned his spear toward the divine soldier and unleashed another blast. Aslan clicked his tongue. Kim Dokja, buy me 10 seconds. Dokja nodded. Okay, a system message surfaced. In this game, skills and stigmas above a certain output are classified as ultimates. Ultimates can only be used after accumulating sufficient points. Notifications followed one after another. Jang Hanyung is using accumulated points to unlock a skill. Helper Jang Hanyung is preparing an ultimate. Helper Jang Hanyung is activating Heaven-Destroying Fist level 10. The air screamed. Aslan's attack detonated across the battlefield, swallowing Thunder-eating bird and General of Banara in a single blow. Notifications rang out. Helper Jang Hanyung has killed Helper Thunder-eating bird. Helper Jang Hanyung has defeated Helper General of Banara. Only one helper remained near Yu Jung-hyuk. Aslan exhaled sharply. Told you, I trained hard too. Dokja was already running. He muttered to himself that taking down even one constellation should have been enough. But something was wrong. Those movements, those reactions. He must have made a deal with the mysterious wall. Aslan shouted behind him. Kim Dokja! Go! Stick to the plan! Don't worry about us! Meladon Oedipus turned his gaze toward Aslan and the divine soldier. Kill them! The notifications appeared almost instantly. Helper Jang Hanyung has been killed. Helper Heaven-Destroying Divine Soldier has been killed. Dokja clenched his teeth. Damn it, at least Yu Jung-hyuk is still alive. Then a calm voice spoke right behind him. You're quite fast, Demon King of Salvation. Dokja stiffened. 3 figures stepped forward. Last Pharaoh Cleopatra, Goddess of Scorpions Selkut, Meladon Oedipus. Dokja forced a thin smile. So you decided to cooperate. Power closed in from every direction. Before he could move again, Dokja was completely trapped. A strange power erupted around Kim Dokja. The ground cracked as dust rose into the air, while lightning wrapped around his body. A notification appeared. Converting winning points from the previous game. You have used points to unlock a certain level. A notification appeared. Constellation, the one who stabbed his own eye, is in shock. Kim Dokja muttered to himself. I hesitated to use this bookmark. Another notification appeared. Constellation, Goddess of Scorpions, is widening her eyes. I thought it would be disrespectful to use this with my dokebi. A final message appeared. Exclusive bookmark is in effect. Kim Dokja whispered softly. Then I'm sorry. A notification appeared. Your understanding of the target character is extremely high. Skill stats have been amplified. Lightning surged violently around Kim Dokja's body. He raised his head and said calmly, the all-rounder in this game is me. A notification appeared. The poison of participant Demon King of Salvation has been adjusted. Exclusive skill, Beast King Emotion, level 10 plus 1 is in effect. Second game roles, all-rounder. Kim Dokja Tanker, Yu Jung-hyuk, Rage Dealer, Aslan Melee Dealer, Heaven Destroying Divine Soldier. A notification appeared. Exclusive skill, Way of the Wind level 11 plus 1 is in effect. Kim Dokja frowned slightly. You're only supposed to use bookmarks once, but this is different. A notification appeared. Your prophecy has greatly increased due to the effect of the fable, the one who looked into the void. You are currently using 2 bookmarks at once. The duration of the bookmarks has been halved. The 2 constellations standing on the rock stared in disbelief. Kim Dokja slowly descended toward them. Bookmark number 5. A notification appeared. Exclusive skill Electrification, level 12 plus 2 is in effect. Last Pharaoh Cleopatra rushed forward, but she was too slow. Lightning pierced through her chest. Cook! Ah! Her body collapsed. The constellation who stabbed his own eye muttered quietly. Impressive, Demon King of Salvation. I didn't expect you to become this strong. Kim Dokja looked at them and said coldly, So, are you just going to stand there and watch? How is this possible? A calm voice echoed from above. What an interesting child. A figure appeared in the sky. I was curious about you. Mithra wished to grant you his feast day. Kim Dokja narrowed his eyes. The god of the sun and cosmic light. Surya smiled faintly. You know my name, child? Yes, Kim Dokja continued. Surya of the southwest. A notification appeared. Constellation mass producer is frowning. Constellation, god of wind and ecstasy, is mocking the god of sublime light. Constellation, queen of the darkest spring, is criticizing the god of sublime light. Surya spoke calmly. Then you should know that you cannot win this game. Kim Dokja clenched his fist. This isn't a constellation I can fight. He's on a completely different level from Cleopatra or Oedipus. Come to Veda, Surya said. Even if a miracle guides you, you'll die at this rate. No, you don't understand the world after the great fables, Surya continued. Do you believe you can bear that burden alone? That isn't a story a single star can handle, Kim Dokja replied firmly. Yes, I'm not alone. A notification appeared. A possibility of a new fable is beginning. Surya tilted his head slightly. My interesting. Who stands with you? Kim Dokja stared at him. How ridiculous. Surya smiled faintly. Oh? Kim Dokja thought quickly. In this game, Meladon earned 2 winning points. Those points could free one of Surya's stigmas. I can't allow that. Lightning exploded around Kim Dokja. The watching constellations trembled. Kim Dokja charged forward. He struck one constellation, then another. A sword appeared in his hand. I'll draw out all the mana of the young golden dragon's broken heart. Lightning intensified. A notification appeared. Participant Demon King of Salvation has killed Helper, Goddess of Scorpions. Participant Demon King of Salvation has killed Helper, Last Pharaoh. The battlefield grew tense. A notification appeared. You are too immersed in the current character, Kim Dokja muttered. More. Another notification appeared. Overusing bookmarks may permanently damage your soul. Kim Dokja clenched his teeth. I have to use everything. Surya spoke quietly. I've watched you for a long time. From the first scenario until now, you've always borrowed power from others. Have you ever fought with your own strength? Do you really believe you can create your own fable? Kim Dokja rushed toward him. Surya raised his hand. Stolen history can never surpass its origin. Kim Dokja's attack stopped midair. Surya caught him with a single palm. You do not exist in your own fable, Surya said calmly. You will die alone. A notification appeared. Constellation God of Sublime Light has opened the stigma third eye. Kim Dokja froze. This stigma... The space began to collapse. Damn it, I didn't expect him to unlock it this fast. At this rate, I'll end up like those rocks. What fable should I use? A notification appeared. Activating fable. My way or the highway. False fire, Kim Dokja muttered. King of a kingless world? No. The one facing a miracle? None of them fit. I'm out of mana. The darkness has already reached me. Nom nom, Kim Dokja blinked. What? Nom nom, a childish voice echoed. Very tasty. Kim Dokja is stupid. Kim Dokja's eyes widened. Fourth wall? That bastard is eating my fable? He could feel it clearly now. That presence inside him. That thick, suffocating wall that had always separated him from the world. This damn bastard. Instead of helping, it's getting in my way, the fourth wall responded. Nom! Dust spiraled violently around Dokja's body. Lightning cracked through the air, tearing at the battlefield. The ground trembled. Surya's expression changed. A notification appeared. Constellation God of Sublime Light is shocked. Surya stared at him. You! Only then did Dokja understand. He had mistaken it. The fourth wall wasn't trying to devour him. It had been protecting him. The strongest psychological skill in existence? It wasn't eating his fable. It was blocking Surya's pressure. But even with the pressure gone, reality remained the same. His mana was empty. His limbs were heavy. He didn't have enough strength to activate Bookmark again. He stood there barely upright. Then a notification showed, the rift fog is getting thicker. It has been 20 minutes since the game began. A low groan echoed across the battlefield. Wah! Something massive tore through the fog. It slithered. It crushed. It devoured. Surya turned. Even he looked surprised. Dokja exhaled slowly. Phew, I've been waiting. Imugi of Apocalypse. The creature roared, its body twisting through space like a disaster-given form. A notification showed Helper Nile River Monster Bird has been killed by Imugi of Apocalypse. A shriek filled the air. Ka! Kaeg! Silence followed. One of the helpers shouted, back off! Everyone! But Surya did not move. He stood there watching. Dokja narrowed his eyes. What a wicked scheme! Meladon and Birkin had taken critical damage earlier. The battlefield was no longer equal. The balance had shifted, but the one who set the board was now inside it. Light flickered near Dokja. For a brief second, a thought crossed his mind. If only I had a little more strength. Then a notification showed a new helper has been summoned into the game. Dokja's pupils trembled. A notification showed Constellation Owner of the Steel is looking at you. A figure emerged through the light. A shield gleamed. Lee Hyun-sung stepped forward. Under the command of Korean Anti-Monster Special Operations Captain. Dokja froze. Before he could speak, a notification showed a new helper has been summoned into the game. A dragon descended. Flames curled around the battlefield. Mr. Yu-sung. Dokja's breath caught. Yu Han-young's voice cut through the chaos. Yun-sung, get Dokja out of here. Yu-sung, continue fire breath until he's clear. They moved instantly. No hesitation. A notification showed Constellation Owner of Steel is sharing a large amount of plausibility with his incarnation. Constellation Lover of the Abandoned Maze is supporting their incarnation. Constellation Lord of the Heavy Walk is cheering on their incarnation. Support poured down like rain. Hyun-sung lifted Dokja onto his back. He began climbing. The battlefield burned below them. Lee Hyun-sung, stay still. You didn't have to come all this way. I can move now. Hyun-sung didn't answer immediately. Dokja-shi, have you ever thrown a grenade? Dokja blinked. A grenade? There are 3 steps. Remove the safety clip, remove the safety pin, then throw it. I've done it before, in the military. Then you know how important the safety pin is. Hyun-sung's voice was calm. I once lost it. Dokja gave a weak laugh. The bullet casing incident? Yes. The whole unit must have panicked. They did. You were in serious trouble. I was. They reached the cliff. Hyun-sung lowered him carefully. The wind was cold here. Dokja looked at him. Hyun-sung, yes? Yeah, thanks for coming. For a moment, Hyun-sung didn't speak. His grip on the shield tightened. Below them, the battlefield raged on. And then, a system message echoed through the sky. Main scenario number 25, Demon King selection. Type, main difficulty, clear conditions. Team up with the helpers to win in the battlefield of mythologies. Failure, death, reward, official succession of the Demon King throne. The words hung in the air like a sentence carved into fate. This was no longer survival. This was succession. Gods were watching. Constellations were interfering. The battlefield had become a myth, and Kim Dokja, exhausted, mana depleted, barely standing, was still at the center of it all. The game had entered its next phase. Dokja looked at Hyun-sung and said quietly, thanks for coming. Before Hyun-sung could even respond, a familiar voice screamed from behind, Mr. Yu-sung. She jumped down from the dragon immediately, ran straight to Dokja, and hugged him tightly. She was trembling, actually trembling, and she was tearing up too. Dokja gently patted her head. Long time no see, Yu-sung. Han Soo-young walked over casually, but you could tell she had been worried too. It's been so long. Dokja looked at her. Yeah, how have you been? Are the others all right? Han Soo-young smiled faintly. You haven't changed. Then she added, it's just us right now. Hewan and the others really wanted to come too, but Yu-sung suddenly interrupted proudly. I did a coin flip with Lee Gil-young and won. Of course she did. Dokja looked back at Han Soo-young. Did you know about this situation? Bi-hyung told us. For a moment, they all just looked at each other. No long speech, no dramatic reunion. just understanding. Then they climbed back onto the dragon. The dragon spread its wings and flew toward the battlefield again. As they flew, Dokja thought quietly, even if Yu Jung-hyuk took the tank position and defeated the dominator of amusement, he should be out of stamina by now. He had pushed himself too far. The dragon descended and dropped them onto the battlefield. The moment Dokja landed, he shouted, "Yu Jung-hyuk!" Jung-hyuk glanced at him, breathing heavily. "You are late." Of course, that's the first thing he says. Then suddenly, a helper from the other team ran toward Olympus and pointed. "That guy has the plaque." They had been exposed. Dokja's mind moved quickly. There are 6 participants left excluding our team. Even with the new members, we are only 5, and Yu Jung-hyuk can't fight properly anymore. The numbers weren't in their favor. Olympus looked toward the father of humanity. "Go!" Immediately, Lee Hyun-sung charged forward aggressively. "I'm never going to lose! Again! Wah!" A notification appeared. Constellation Father of Steel is glaring at Constellation Father of Humanity. The tension on the battlefield skyrocketed. Han Soo-young stepped forward. "I'll take Olympus." A constellation shouted angrily. "Have you gone mad, incarnation of Olympus? Lord of Heavenly Walk, you are making the wrong choice." Energy clashed from every direction. Divine pressure, mythological presence. It felt like the air itself was splitting. Yusung moved forward with her dragon and released a massive wave of fire. Constellation Bananas sneered, "Kill it! All it has is its size. It's not a real threat." But when the dragon's flames hit the ground, even the constellation stepped back instinctively. The battlefield burned. A notification showed, "There are 10 minutes remaining." 10 minutes. Dokja clenched his teeth. If this round ends in a draw, it will be disadvantageous. We'll be forced into the 3rd round. And if we don't gain enough points there, we'll have to fight constellations without penalties. That would be suicide. From within the flames, a voice shouted, "Kill the Duke! He has the plaque!" Yu Jung-hyuk stepped forward. "I will clear the path." Even exhausted, even injured, he moved first. He leapt toward the 2 dukes who were trying to stop the fire from spreading. One tried to flee. The other attempted to suppress the flames with his power. Jung-hyuk cut straight through. He clashed with Constellation Bananas directly. "They're going after the plaque," Bananas shouted. The battlefield filled with dust and debris. And then, in a single movement, Father of Humanity thrust his spear forward. It pierced through Yu Jung-hyuk. A notification echoed coldly. "Participant Yu Jung-hyuk has been killed." Everything felt silent for a second. Jung-hyuk fell. But before his body fully disappeared, he muttered, "I'm leaving it to you, Kim Dokja." And then he was gone. Hyun-sung shouted desperately, "Dokja!" A notification showed, "There are 5 minutes remaining." Father of Humanity turned toward Hyun-sung and attacked. Hyun-sung roared and activated his power. "Hub!" He slammed into the Father of Humanity with overwhelming force. Constellation Bananas was shocked. "Cook! How dare a mere incarnation!" Meanwhile, Dokja was running. He kept running forward. Hyun-sung suddenly grabbed him. Dokja looked at him. "Hyun-sung, throw me!" Hyun-sung froze. "No! I can't do something like that!" Dokja's voice hardened. "A grenade that already had its safety pin removed needs to be thrown." He looked straight at him. "Even if I die here, I won't die in real life." Hyun-sung's eyes shook. "I can't believe that lie again." Dokja tried to speak urgently. "This isn't the time." But Hyun-sung interrupted him. "If you die, we die together." Notification showed, Constellation Devil-like Judge of Fire is touched by Hyun-sung's loyalty. Even a constellation reacted to those words. In the distance, Birkin was still running. Surya watched them calmly and said, "As I said earlier, with only history like that, it is futile." Hyun-sung froze for a second. "We can't move forward." Surya's voice was cold and absolute. "So, the place you are standing now is the one that befits humans. Humans who make the same mistake over and over again." The pressure around them became heavier. Dokja forced his remaining power outward and sent a wave towards Surya. The force moved forward, but it barely reached him. It didn't truly hit. Surya looked at him without interest. "Is this all? Do you truly intend to see the end of this scenario with only this?" Dokja muttered to himself. The difference is immense, even with him releasing only 30% of his power." Then Yusung's voice rang out. "Don't look down on him!" She rushed forward on her dragon, her eyes burning with anger. The dragon opened its mouth and released a massive wave of fire towards Surya. The flames swallowed the area where Surya stood. But they didn't touch him. Not even a single spark landed. Hyun-sung transformed into his fire form. Flames wrapped around his body as he struck the ground first. The rock split violently from the impact. "Wah!" He charged towards Surya and tried to strike him. But Surya stopped it effortlessly, like stopping a child. Then something shifted. Notification showed, "The 73rd Demon Realm responds to the will of you and your helper. A fable about you is being created." The air trembled. A slight gap created by the history of the human they looked down upon. A gap. Small. It almost invisible, but real. Dokja, still glowing faintly, looked at Hyun-sung. Hyun-sung. A tiny gap. That was enough. In that single moment, Dokja moved. He slipped through the opening and reached Birkin. With one decisive strike, notification showed, Participant, Demon King of Salvation, has slain participant Duke Birkin. Dokja's breath trembled. I did it. And then, notification showed, you have been slain. Darkness swallowed everything. When Dokja opened his eyes again, he was no longer on the battlefield. He was lying on the floor of a vast library. Rows of bookshelves stretched endlessly in every direction. He slowly sat up and muttered, at the last moment I killed Birkin and died from Surya's attack simultaneously. I heard a ton of system messages afterwards. Did we win the second round? Or did we lose? But one thing was certain. He died in the game. Dokja stood up, holding his head. Ugh, where is this? A library? Why am I here? He pulled a book from a nearby shelf and opened it. Inside it read, after Lee Seolhwa died, Yu Jung-hyuk thought this as he nearly died several times. With his skills and traits, he could never defeat them. The end of the scenario wasn't visible, and the powers of constellations were ridiculously strong. He would not be able to avenge Lee Seolhwa or Lee Ji-hye. In despair, Yu Jung-hyuk thought this. And if only I had a supporting constellation? Dokja's fingers tightened around the page. This isn't a scene from TWSA, but I know this scene because it had repeated in his mind hundreds of times. Notification showed Constellation wishes to make you their incarnation? Dokja whispered. This is the moment Yu Jung-hyuk got his first supporting constellation? The moment he reached his limit. The moment he had no choice but to kneel before the scenario. As Dokja turned the page, another sentence appeared. A new trait, Regressor, has been unlocked. Dokja stared at it. This is the story of how Yu Jung-hyuk first became a regressor. He slowly looked around the library again. This looks like much more than 3,149 chapters. Could this be a place where all the records of TWSA are gathered? Suddenly, a sharp pain struck his head. Kim Dokja muttered to himself, what? This place that once seemed alien suddenly feels familiar. I have been here before. But when? When did I? Then a voice echoed. Kim Dokja. Dokja paused. Fourth wall? The fourth wall responded. Soul was in danger. Dokja frowned. What? I called you. Dokja looked around the endless library. Am I inside you? Yes. Dokja scratched his head slowly. Then how do I get out? Where is the exit? The fourth wall didn't respond. Dokja waited. Hey! Still no answer. Dokja closed his eyes. A notification showed, you cannot use Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint here. Dokja sighed quietly. I thought so. A notification showed, you cannot use Bookmark here. Dokja began walking through the library. Everywhere he looked, there were bookshelves stretching endlessly. No matter where I look, it's all TWSA. He looked around again. Oh, it's heaven. Dokja picked up a random book and opened it. He skimmed through the pages. What is all this explanation? Right. That's the kind of novel TWSA is. He flipped another page and smirked slightly. He was cute here. He sighed. Damn it. I should have intimidated him a lot more in the beginning. Dokja continued flipping through the pages. I had forgotten about this. He paused. What? This happened too? For a moment, he stared at the pages quietly. It doesn't sound bad to just give up and stay here. He leaned back slightly. I wouldn't get hungry or anything since it's my soul that's here. The scenario can't kill me here. He looked around the quiet library. I don't need to care about what the constellations think either. Dokja picked up another book. Inside it was written. Yu Jung-hyuk sometimes thought, what would have happened if he hadn't met him on the bridge that day? If he had killed him there, what would have happened to the rest of his life? Dokja muttered softly, though it might be the third one. Suddenly, a distant voice shouted, Damn it, Kim Dokja! Kim Dokja, get it together! Wake up! Dokja grabbed another book, but when he opened it, it's empty. He looked around carefully. All the books here are organized by attempt. He frowned. It's like somebody arranged them to be easily searchable. Dokja slowly whispered, but who? Suddenly he noticed something. A shadow moved between the bookshelves. Dokja narrowed his eyes. Is someone there? The shadow moved again. Wait! Dokja began running after it. Wait! But suddenly, ah! He stumbled and fell to the ground. When he lifted his head, he froze. In front of him was the end of the library. Beyond it was darkness. Dokja slowly muttered, this is the end of the library. The end of all stories. He stared into the darkness. If I go there, if I can enter that place, his voice became quieter. I feel like I would learn what I've been curious about for so long. Suddenly, a spirit grabbed his shoulder. You will die if you fall. Dokja turned. That place is beyond the wall. Back in reality, Kim Dokja was lying unconscious. Yu Jung-hyuk kept slapping his face. Wake up! Slap! Yu Sung-ah shouted. Yu Jung-hyuk, stop slapping him! Slap! Wake up! Lee Hyun-sung screamed in horror. Ha! Han Soo-young looked at Dokja's face and sighed. His face is completely swollen. Yu Jung-hyuk frowned. Why isn't he waking up? Han Soo-young crouched beside Dokja. He's still breathing. I think his soul was shocked. Lee Hyun-sung knelt beside him, crying. Dokja, please wake up. Yu Jung-hyuk looked at the surroundings and muttered. With the end of the second round, the battlefield of mythologies was suddenly undone. We were thrown out here, in front of the industrial complex. Yusanga looked around. You managed to stay alive. Then someone approached. Myungo! Yusanga looked at Aslan. Are you our ally? Aslan scratched his head awkwardly. Ah, I'm Aslan. Then he suddenly looked at Yu Jung-hyuk's group. His eyes widened when he saw Yusung. Wait, are you from that video? Yusung blinked. Not you know me? Aslan smiled brightly. I'm a big fan. I can't believe I'm meeting the incarnation from Earth. Suddenly, a notification showed, discussing the winner of the second round. Han Soo-young crossed her arms. So, did we win or lose? Aslan shrugged. I think Kim Dokja got the kill first. Wouldn't that mean we won? Then he frowned. But we lost our plaque. Yu Jung-hyuk spoke calmly. Kim Dokja was faster. A notification showed, discussing the winner of the second round. Yu Jung-hyuk narrowed his eyes. The same text for 30 minutes. He looked up. Get ready. Something is wrong. Han Soo-young frowned. What do you mean? Yu Jung-hyuk spoke coldly. The Management Bureau has always been fast when it comes to the main scenario. His eyes darkened. There is no way they would take this long to decide a winner. He clenched his fist. In other words, someone is interfering. He looked toward the sky. Someone doesn't want this scenario to end. Silence fell. Then the ground suddenly shook. This isn't a game anymore. And suddenly a creature emerged from the darkness. A voice echoed through the emptiness. You will die if you fall. That's beyond the wall. Dokja stuttered. Nirvana, Mobius? The figure before him smiled faintly. I saved you once before too. Seems like you've already forgotten. Dokja's eyes widened. Why? Are you here? Nirvana tilted his head. Are you really asking that? Because you don't know? Dokja frowned, thinking carefully. And what happened to the beings that were eaten by the fourth wall? The first time the fourth wall ate something, I asked myself that. Nirvana's expression grew serious. It's as you see. This is what happens. Dokja blinked. You've been living here all this time? Nirvana let out a quiet laugh. I don't know if you can call it living. I'm really just a parasite, leeching on the damn wall. The wall itself seemed to murmur. Nirvana, you talk too much. Dokja's curiosity burned. You must know everything that I want to know then? Nirvana shook his head. Child, no being can know everything. Just like you couldn't. Dokja's voice dropped, almost whispering. How do you feel, now that you know you are a character inside a novel? Nirvana's smile returned, faintly amused. A novel? Is that how you see it? Dokja's eyes widened. Nirvana leaned back slightly. What? Keep talking. I like your story. Dokja's tone turned cold, almost frightened. What are you saying? He muttered to himself. Now that I think about it, he talked about us becoming one or something, right up until his death. Nirvana nodded, his expression unreadable. Not just me. All beings here. Like your story. A sudden sound echoed, a stone hitting the ground. Dokja flinched. Who else is here? Nirvana's voice cut through the air. There is no time. We better hurry. It's not good to talk too much here. Terrifying things will happen. Dokja's heart pounded. Wait, where are we going? Nirvana's gaze was sharp. To someone who really wants to see you? Dokja's brow furrowed. What? Who? The being that organizes the books in the 000 numbers. We are not here just lounging around. If we don't organize properly, you won't be able to remember things. They moved toward the creature. Dokja's eyes widened. Then, enjoy, Dokja whispered to the creature, his voice shaking. So, you're here too? He muttered to himself. The Dream Eater, the being I killed with the help of Chok Jung-young and the fourth wall. The Dream Eater's form shifted, voice calm yet chilling. Ah, the pitiful savior. Dokja straightened slightly. You wanted to see me? The Dream Eater nodded. I want to help you. Dokja's brow furrowed. I don't know what you're talking about. Give me some time to process this. There is no much time, the Dream Eater said. Thanks to you, I have reached the truth about space. Those who are noble repay their debts. Dokja's mind raced. Then I have a question. Go on. Who made this library? A sudden lightning strike scattered sparks across the space, blindingly bright. Dokja jumped back, shocked. The Dream Eater's voice rang again. That does not count as a question. Ask something else. Dokja muttered to himself, thinking. All right, there's no point asking questions related to TWSA. I can just read the second edit, and come back to read the related records later. The Dream Eater's tone grew serious. You can ask questions not recorded in TWSA, something that I, an otherworldly god, can answer too. Dokja's eyes narrowed. Who is the secretive portal? Lightning flickered around him, weak sparks dancing. These sparks are weaker than last time. The Dream Eater's voice was steady. He is one of the oldest beings in this universe, the loneliest being in this universe. Dokja raised an eyebrow. How am I supposed to infer anything from that? Give me a proper nickname. The Dream Eater chuckled softly. Nicknames are meaningless when it comes to him. However, if you want, he will help you. Dokja frowned. Help me? How? Sign a verbal oath of the otherworld with him. Dokja's mind raced. What are a verbal oath of the otherworld? Like the absolute throne I destroyed in the fifth scenario. But none of the verbal oaths in TWSA had a good ending. I cannot. The Dream Eater's tone softened, almost amused. I thought you might say that. You hate the higher dimensional beings, but you are no longer weak enough to be subordinate to another being. Dokja couldn't hide a small smirk. The Dream Eater continued. You need to reconsider your anger to reach the end. You need to reconsider the things you can use. A sudden crashing sound echoed in the distance. The world is heading towards blank. It has not been written yet, but it is also already written. The secretive portal can help you, so you can find the proper part. Dokja's voice tightened. I believe in the stories I have built up so far. The Dream Eater's tone became urgent. There is no time now. Remember, the plotter is always waiting for you. Dokja froze, shock written across his face. The library suddenly began to shake violently. Books trembled on the shelves and fragments of light scattered into the air. Dokja staggered slightly. Wait a moment, I still have questions to ask. But the Dream Eater only turned away. Farewell, Word Apostle. If plausibility permits, we shall meet again. His voice faded as the space distorted. At that moment, another voice echoed through the collapsing library. Yu Jungyuk! Dokja froze. Yu Jungyuk's voice overlapped with the sound, as if coming from far away. Wake up quickly. If you do not, everyone will die. Dokja looked down at a book lying in his hands. Written on its cover was Yu Jungyuk's name. Yu Jungyuk's thoughts continued to echo. Damn it. At this rate, I have no choice but to go. The world shattered like broken glass. Back on the battlefield, chaos still raged endlessly. Lightning tore through the sky, while explosions shook the ground. Surya looked down at Yu Jungyuk with clear disdain. How unsightly. You can't even handle insects like those. Yet you are not ashamed to call yourself a constellation. Yu Jungyuk glared back. Why are you doing this? A notification showed. Constellation God of Sublime Light smiles quietly. Yu Jungyuk spoke again, his voice cold. It seems you don't want your history to include being defeated by insects. A notification showed. Some constellations are dissatisfied with the scenario progression. Constellation Devil-like Judge of Fire is greatly indignant. The battlefield continued to descend into madness. Li Hansung suddenly coughed violently. Gah! Blood spilled from his mouth as he struggled to stand. A notification showed. Demon King, Grand Monarch of the Demon Castle, is pleased. Demon King, Instigator of Discord, is excited. A considerable number of constellations are thrilled at the prospect of a great battle after a long time. Yu Jungyuk turned, shocked at Hyunsung's condition. Hyunsung stood firmly despite everything, raising his shield as lightning crashed toward them. He struggled desperately, trying to block the overwhelming power. Yu Jungyuk shouted, Stand back, Lee Hyunsung. This is not an opponent you can handle. Surya, surrounded by blazing lightning, spoke calmly. Foolish transcendent, this is the price for intruding upon the Constellation Festival. His eyes shone brightly. You will die here. Yu Jungyuk clenched his teeth. He muttered to himself. The number of visible constellations alone is nearly 20. Nearby, the Heaven Divine Soldier barked loudly. Woof! Woof! Yu Jungyuk's expression hardened. Apostle, you mustn't. If you release that power, you could die. Slowly, Yu Jungyuk opened his eyes. They glowed a deep yellow. A memory surfaced in his mind, Namjoon's voice speaking long ago. If you reach Transcendental Form Stage 3, you will obtain the power to defy constellations. Energy began to spiral around Yu Jungyuk like a raging tornado. Light twisted violently, shaking the battlefield itself. Han Soo-young stared in disbelief. Yu Jungyuk! At that moment, Dokja's faint voice seemed to overlap somewhere beyond awareness. That's right. Then quietly. However, one of you will die as well. Han Soo-young called out again, panic rising in her voice. Yu Jungyuk? Yu Jungyuk didn't look back. Instead, he spoke firmly. Take him and run, Yu Jungyuk replied without turning back. A constellation stepped forward, laughing. Foolish transcendent, this is the price for interfering in the Constellation Festival. You will die here. Yu Jungyuk lifted his sword slowly. One of you will die here too. The constellation laughed louder. Ha ha ha, it's no use. The death of an incarnation is, in my next life, half of you will die. Yu Jungyuk cut in coldly. In the life after that, all of you will die. His eyes glowed. You'll keep dying. Again and again. Constellation Benares scoffed. Arrogant bastard, what nonsense are you spouting? A notification showed. Activating exclusive skill, Gigantification Level 6. Benares rushed forward, body expanding as he raised his weapon. But Yu Jungyuk moved first. A flash. The blade passed. Benares froze. Kook! How dare! His head dropped. Yu Jungyuk lowered his sword slightly. Next, the remaining constellations stiffened. You? Even they didn't expect that. The Heaven Divine Soldier watched from the side, thinking, he's using gigantification only to boost strength? He won't last long. 10 minutes. Another constellation charged with a spear. Yu Jungyuk clicked his tongue. Kyuk. A notification showed convert concentration is expanding the range of trait. Exclusive trait Dominator of Amusement has been activated. They attacked together this time. Too many angles. Too fast. But Yu Jungyuk jumped. Power gathered around him like a storm. Heaven-destroying sword path. Ultimate. Heaven-destroying meteor. Ultimate. The attack crashed down. Gwa! The battlefield shook as the constellations were struck, then silence. Yu Jung-hyuk landed, but staggered. My body is giving out, he exhaled slowly. With a short life, but not empty, a notification showed, Fable, the one who has inherited the tyrant name, is roaring. Fable, the one facing a miracle, is starting the story. He tightened his grip again. I'll kill you here. A notification showed, starting the Fable, Paradise of Despair. Starting the Fable, the one who fought an otherworldly god. Memories flashed. He grabbed Dokja by the collar. Do you remember? A notification showed, starting Fable, Dominator of the Industrial Complex. I am Yu Jung-hyuk too. Back in reality, Yu Jung-hyuk coughed blood. Fables I shouldn't even have. One of the constellations muttered, amazing. A notification showed, Fable, the one who hunted the king of disaster, is roaring. Surya looked at him quietly. You're no longer human, child. Yu Jung-hyuk glanced back. Han Soo-young and the others were already running. Good. A notification showed, Fable, friend of life and death, wants to continue the story. Yu Jung-hyuk said, I can't die here. Not in a place like this. I can't die yet. Surya looked down at him, expression cold as ever. But it is only a mere human fable. How dare a human be ignorant of the power of a god? A notification showed, Constellation, devil-like judge of fire, is furious. Constellation, queen of the darkest spring, feels pity for Yu Jung-hyuk. The constellation, prisoner of the golden headband, is pointing fingers at the cowardly constellation. Many constellations are complaining about the situation on the battlefield. In the Dokja office, Byung slammed his hand on the desk. What is the meaning of this? Yu Jung-hyuk, Kim Dokja Industrial Complex clearly won the second round. It was close, but it was their win. So why isn't the winner being announced? Bahram stood calmly nearby. It was the decision of the Management Bureau. Murmurs spread through the office. Byung turned sharply. Mr. Bahram, this is a main scenario. Since when does the Management Bureau interfere in a main scenario, especially one involving a great fable? You know what happens when we do this. Tell me, who is behind it? One of the higher-ups? Bahram replied flatly. Are you doubting the great Dokja right now? Byung snapped back. Who else would do something like this? Bahram sighed. Byung, get it together. Why would they do that? Byung frowned. Then they were bribed. Bahram shook his head. Even a great Dokja cannot handle the consequences of interfering in a scenario of this scale. Byung's voice lowered. Then who? The air shifted. A faint pressure, like the world itself was watching. Byung's eyes widened. Plausibility? Bahram looked at him. Do you understand now? The will of the Starstream is involved. Byung shook his head. That's impossible. Bahram replied, calm and final. There is no explanation beyond that. The story is no longer in the storyteller's hands. Byung stood frozen. Then what value do storytellers even have? Bahram answered quietly. They are also part of the story. Byung didn't speak for a moment. Then he muttered, almost to himself. There's only one being I can trust now. A notification showed. Many constellations are looking at one particular constellation. Back on Earth's battlefield, Byu suddenly shouted, Bah! And started slapping Dokja awake. Dokja groaned, sitting up. Ha! He blinked, looking around. This isn't the battlefield of mythologies. Yu Sanga called out immediately. Dokja. Dokja rubbed his face. Byu's slapping is getting stronger. Byu puffed up. Bah! Dokja stood slowly. The constellations, are they here? Yu Sanga nodded. They are, a notification showed. Determining the winning team of the second round, Dokja narrowed his eyes. The winner hasn't been announced yet. Lee Hyun-sung groaned nearby. Kyuk. Dokja looked around sharply. But where is Yu Jung-hyuk? His expression darkened slightly. I can feel multiple constellations nearby. If they escape this far, that idiot must still be alive. Yu Sanga shouted. Dokja. A notification showed. The fourth wall is subtly shaking. Yu Sung screamed, Mr. No. You'll die if you go there. Dokja clenched his teeth. Is there a way? He made a decision. All stats. Invest everything. 3 million coins into strength, agility, stamina, and mana. A notification showed. All of your stats have increased significantly. The amount of coins invested exceeds the current scenario limit. Partially canceling stat restrictions using plausibility. Stat growth will be adjusted randomly. Your mind cannot fully handle incarnation evolution. Exclusive skill, fourth wall, has been activated. Your incarnation is evolving to a new level. Dokja coughed blood. Kook. He steadied himself. I kept this for the most desperate moment, but this is the only option. His eyes sharpened. Fables, stigmas, skills, they don't matter much in this situation. What matters now? A notification showed. Your overall stats have exceeded 200. Dokja finished firmly. Is a stronger body. A notification showed. Your agility is neutralizing air resistance. Your mana is reopening block pathways. Your strength has undergone a major change. Dokja shouted, Yoo Jung-hyuk! Yoo Jung-hyuk's body was glowing, lightning tearing across his skin like it was trying to rip him apart. Dokja rushed straight into the battlefield and yelled, You idiot! A notification showed. The fourth wall is shaking violently. Surya raised his hand, lightning gathering instantly. Get lost! A notification showed. Exclusive skill, electrification level 12, +2, has been activated. The lightning slammed into the ground with a deafening crash. Dust and sparks exploded everywhere. Dokja pushed through it. The battle around him was still chaotic. Constellations clashing, power colliding, everything on the verge of collapse. One constellation screamed. Another shouted, Stop him! Dokja's body crackled with electricity as he forced his way forward, while Yoo Jung-hyuk's lightning flickered. Unstable, weakening. Yoo Jung-hyuk is dying. Dokja's eyes widened. Yoo Jung-hyuk! He raised his arms, using everything he had to block the incoming lightning from the surrounding constellations. His muscles screamed. His mana was nearly gone, but he didn't stop. Asmodeus! If you're really a demon king, then keep your promise. For a moment, nothing. Then the sky shifted. Purple clouds spread across the battlefield. A notification showed, The Demon King, Devil of Lust and Wrath, has manifested in the demon realm. The constellations froze. A demon king? A figure descended. Asmodeus appeared, smiling wide. She moved instantly. Her claws tore through the air, striking Surya. Surya staggered. You insane demon king! Another constellation shouted, What is the meaning of this? But Dokja didn't wait. He grabbed Yoo Jung-hyuk and lifted him onto his back. Then he ran. Behind them, voices shouted, After him! Dokja ran as fast as he could. Yoo Jung-hyuk's body slumped over his back. Wake up, Dokja muttered. Please. He tightened his grip. He's lighter than usual. That thought hit him hard. Hey, stop messing around. I know you can activate Panacea. Do something. Anything. He looked at Biu. I'll buy a great return pill. Just do something. Biu cried out. Yoo Jung-hyuk thought. Dokja snapped. Don't think about it. This life ends here. Damn it, Dokja shouted. I told you not to think about it. Lightning began gathering again around Yoo Jung-hyuk's body. Dokja's eyes widened. No. The realization hit him. Shit, don't do it. He tightened his grip, almost shaking him. Don't regress. Just stay like this. You can still survive. This turn isn't over yet. His voice broke. This idiot can still fight. I can save him. A notification showed. The sponsor of the incarnation, Yoo Jung-hyuk, is looking at you. The stigma regression level 3 has been activated. A beam of light descended from the sky. Dokja stared at it in disbelief. Is this how it ends? His voice trembled. After everything I did to get here, Yoo Jung-hyuk dies here? A notification showed the incarnation Yoo Jung-hyuk is looking at his sponsor. Dokja froze. Yoo Jung-hyuk? A notification showed the incarnation Yoo Jung-hyuk is resisting his sponsor. All of the fables of the incarnation Yoo Jung-hyuk are resisting death. Dokja's breath caught. A light flashed across his face. His voice dropped to a whisper. This is something I've never seen before. A notification showed the incarnation Yoo Jung-hyuk has refused regression. A light shone down. Yoo Jung-hyuk said, I can't die here. I will not die here. His legs almost gave out. Dokja was quick, catching him before he fell. Hey, you, Dokja muttered. Then he thought to himself, Yoo Jung-hyuk is rejecting regression. A notification showed incarnation Yoo Jung-hyuk's supporting constellation is looking at his incarnation. Yoo Jung-hyuk muttered, Great restoration pill. Break it into smaller pieces so I can take it. A notification showed stigma. Regression level 3 has been cancelled. Dokja asked, You're fine? A notification showed Fable Friend of Life and Death is continuing. Yoo Jung-hyuk placed the pill in his mouth and swallowed. In the past, a voice had asked, What is your relation to Yoo Jung-hyuk? Dokja answered, We are friends in life and death. He thought to himself, Was it in Chungmuro? I clearly had that conversation with Gong Pildu. Now we truly will either live or die together. A voice shouted, Dokja! Dokja turned sharply but managed to dodge the attack. The constellation yelled, Calling in another demon king? Do you realize what you've done, idiot? The 73rd demon realm is going to fall now. Dokja shouted, Lee Hyun-sung! He flung Yoo Jung-hyuk toward him. Hyun-sung caught him safely. Dokja faced the constellation and pulled his sword out. He swung toward Cleopatra. Another constellation shot lightning at him. Dokja raised his force and stopped the attack. He grunted. Blood slipped from his mouth. He exhaled, steadying himself. The sky's color shifted. Dokja muttered, Damn it, the other demon kings who earned enough plausibility points are coming. Unfortunately, they're not on my side. A notification showed Demon King, creator of Discord, has descended upon the demon realm. Demon King, Lord of Corpse Philosophy, has descended upon the demon realm. Dokja muttered, This is why I haven't called Asmodeus until now. A notification showed, The 73rd demon realm is reaching your fable. Dokja turned to his crew. Back off, everyone. Save your energy while I stall for time. Myungo ran past. Dokja looked surprised. Manager Han? Asmodeus released lightning toward the group and laughed. A strange, thrilling sound. This is fun! So fun! She attacked Surya. Surya stood firm. I want to know the reason. Demon god of wrath and lust? Asmodeus. Why are you taking the side of this inferior human? Asmodeus smirked, licking the blood from her hand. Taking their side? I'm not taking the side of anyone. I'm just doing what seems fun. She tilted her head, amused. You don't get it. You don't know what kind of fable the demon king of salvation has. Surya sneered. I saw it. It was just a common fable. Asmodeus laughed, sharp and echoing. Surya, all that light blinded you. I told you before, if you want to enjoy your fables for a long time, manage your eyesight well. Surya admitted reluctantly. He is not bad among the newer stars, but on average compared to the entire star stream, he doesn't even have a single myth-grade fable yet. Asmodeus shook her head. A might-grade fable? Even after living so long? You still judge fables by that? Surya, why are you so obsessed with the demon king of salvation? Surya spat. Obsessed? What are you talking about? Asmodeus tilted her head again. Actually, it's more like your entire nebula. Am I wrong? While spouting nonsense about human history, you tried to recruit the demon king of salvation? Petty. You tried to kill him after he refused. That is not something I would expect from such a large nebula like yours. I want to ask, why are you doing all this? She laughed again. Wait, I see, Surya. You heard about what happened in the Culinary Council. The demon king of salvation is a being who seeks the final scenario. That's why you don't like him, right? Because you don't have the right to the end, Surya? Surya's eyes blazed. He directed a lightning spear at Asmodeus. Asmodeus laughed, unfazed. Goodness, a human body is so inconvenient. She looked up at the sky. Today something great will happen in this demon realm. It would be a shame to leave now. Suddenly, Myungo grabbed her before the rocks exploded. She looked at him, startled. A rock hit Myungo, sending him backward. He groaned. Asmodeus whispered to herself, amused. Why? There is no reason for him to remain loyal. She smirked. Really, the scenario is so fun. A heavy punch slammed into Hyunsung. He spat blood from his mouth as his body crashed backward. But the constellation didn't stop there. He charged toward the rest of Dokja's crew, attacking relentlessly. Electricity surged around their bodies, burning through the ground beneath them. Su barked loudly. Aslan forced himself up, breathing heavily. Meanwhile, Dokja was still fighting alone in the distance. A voice echoed. The demon king of salvation I wanted to meet is out there fighting. I want to fight alongside him. Another constellation released lightning toward Dokja. The attack struck him directly before he could dodge. Dokja staggered backward. Aslan clenched his fist against the ground and shouted, Why is no one helping? So many stars are watching us. So why? A notification showed, Exclusive skill, Mysterious Wall has activated. A blue screen appeared before Aslan. Enter the message you want to send. Recipient. Aslan stared blankly. Please, he whispered. Just one of you. A voice suddenly spoke. Do you really want to help? A notification showed. Mysterious Wall is asking you a question. Do you really want to help? Aslan looked at the screen in shock. I don't care about the price. So please. Words began appearing rapidly across the screen. Enter the message you want to send. Hello. Do you perhaps know Kim Dokja? He is looking for a constellation. As more messages appeared, Aslan's eyes widened. These are the messages I sent? A notification showed. There are currently 124 messages waiting to be sent. Aslan's voice trembled. Why? Then why? The reason none of the constellations replied is, the wall answered quietly. I was told not to send them. Aslan froze. Who? A being higher than me. Aslan clenched his teeth. Send them, he said immediately. Right now. Send them all. The wall responded. Don't regret this. A notification showed 124 messages have been sent. Tears slowly formed in Aslan's eyes. Then, a blue screen appeared. A notification showed Constellation One-Eyed Maitreya has entered the channel. Another one appeared. Then another. The notifications began flooding endlessly. Constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband is cheering you on. Constellation Abyssal Black Flame Dragon is looking at you while complaining. Constellation Devil-like Judge of Fire is putting her hands together. Constellation Secretive Plotter has entered the channel. Constellations with positive feelings toward you are watching you. Your fable in the 73rd demon realm is being created. Dokja looked up slowly. Even Surya paused. What? Surya stared at the gathering presence. Child, he said coldly, I understand your expectations, but the constellations will not help you. The stars are smart. None of them would foolishly antagonize a nebula. The atmosphere suddenly changed. A terrifying pressure descended. Surya's expression stiffened. A figure appeared. Dokja instinctively stepped back slightly, ready to fight. A notification showed Constellation Impatient Predator of the Swamps is manifesting in the demon realm. Elsewhere in the demon realm, a soldier unlocked a prison cell. You're free, he said nervously. Someone paid your debt. Predator of the Swamps frowned. What? Who did? Back on the battlefield, Dokja smirked faintly. So you came to repay your debt? The Constellation scoffed. I could have handled that myself without anyone's help. I'm only here because I don't like this guy. Surya's eyes narrowed. Minion of the Culinary Council, are you not afraid of the nebulae? The Constellation burst into laughter. Nebulae? Ha 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 ha. Since when did the Culinary Council care about that shit? A monstrous roar echoed nearby. Surya replied coldly. The outcome won't change just because another piece of trash joined. A notification showed. The victor of the second round will soon be announced. Surya's eyes glowed brighter. Child, things will not go your way. Dokja immediately sensed something wrong. Far more plausibility points are moving than before. Is it Veda? Surya raised his hand. The will of Veda shall descend here. An overwhelming fable exploded outward. Blinding light swallowed the battlefield. Dokja covered his face. A notification showed, Fable King of 12 Suns is radiating light. The blazing sun burned across the battlefield with terrifying intensity. The heat alone felt enough to melt the ground itself. Dokja quickly raised his arm to shield his face from the overwhelming brightness while Hyunsung stepped in front of the others with his shield raised high. Hyunsung groaned as the scorching light slammed against the shield. Even the predator of the swamp screamed in pain the moment the heat touched him. Surya stood calmly in the middle of the blazing radiance, surrounded by countless burning suns. His robes fluttered violently from the heat as a cold smirk slowly appeared on his face. Do you see the gap between us now? A notification showed activating Stigma. Song of the Blades, Level 3. Maritime war gods quotes are imbuing the blade. A voice echoed through Dokja's mind. The divine appeared in his dream during the night and said, If you choose this path, you shall know victory. Choose the other, and you shall know defeat. Dokja's eyes began glowing faintly as the stigma activated. Surya looked at him and scoffed. A mere historical grade stigma. How inferior. Dokja ignored him and focused completely. I can see it now. The circles of light. The quote revealed an enemy's weaknesses through colors. Green represented overwhelming strength. Red represented weakness. But Surya's entire body was covered in green light. Dokja narrowed his eyes further. There's no red. Surya immediately realized what Dokja was searching for. So? Surya asked calmly. What did you see? Dokja clenched his teeth and muttered to himself, I can't find a weakness. Surya slowly raised his spear. There is no meaning in struggling with borrowed stigmas. Even if you became a constellation, you were born human. Dokja slowly removed his coat and tossed it aside. The scale of plausibility has shifted, which means we can place even more weight on our side. Lightning suddenly exploded across the battlefield. Dokja raised his voice. Come forth, Goryo's greatest swordsman. Another bolt of lightning descended from the sky, and a figure stepped out from within it. Long time no see, successor. Dokja stared at him in surprise. You've changed. The man standing before him was no longer a historical-grade constellation. He had become a fable-grade constellation. The swordsman smiled faintly. It's thanks to you. A lot happened recently, and now I can finally repay my debt. A notification showed, Constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband is acting upset. Constellation Devil-like Judge of Fire looks depressed. Surya's face twisted with irritation. How dare you? An inferior historical-grade constellation? Here he comes, Dokja and the swordsman said at the same time. A gigantic lightning strike crashed into the battlefield, shattering the ground apart. Dust and broken rocks erupted into the air, but Dokja and the swordsman dodged at the last second. The swordsman leapt upward with his blade drawn. I knew the divinities of India were strong, but this is far beyond what I expected. Surya instantly rushed toward him with his spear, but the swordsman smoothly redirected the attack with his blade. Surya gritted his teeth in frustration. I will kill you myself. A notification showed, the sentences of the 73rd Demon Realm are examining your fable. Dokja's eyes widened slightly. These are the sentences earned from the last game. Those sentences were the ingredients needed to create great fables. And finally, the great fables of this world are beginning to take form. Surya suddenly turned toward the other constellations and shouted furiously, What are you all doing? There's no time. Kill them. The battlefield instantly descended into chaos again. Explosions, lightning, flames, and countless powers collided everywhere as Dokja's group clashed against Surya's forces. A notification showed Demon King, creator of Discord, is showing hostility. Dokja gritted his teeth. Damn it. The Demon Kings are no longer staying passive. Even with 2 allies on their side, they were still overwhelmingly disadvantaged. We need more help. But who can possibly fight Demon Kings at this level? Dokja suddenly stumbled as pain shot through his injured leg. My leg! He clenched his teeth tightly. At this rate, I'll have to use Way of the Wind. Fire! Surya roared. Everyone suddenly turned in shock. A massive ship appeared across the battlefield. Huge fireballs were launched toward Dokja's side. Dokja barely managed to dodge before the attack exploded violently against the ground. Then a voice came, "Mister, it's me!" Dokja's eyes widened at the familiar voice. "Sorry for being late." A notification showed, "Constellation God of the Sea is looking at you." 4 giant ships appeared behind the smoke. "Jihye!" Dokja shouted. The moment he noticed Surya's forces rushing toward her, Dokja tried to move forward but immediately collapsed again. "My leg!" He gritted his teeth. "This won't work. At this rate, I'll have to use Way of the Wind." A hand suddenly tapped his shoulder. "You're trying to do everything alone again, huh? I told you not to do that." Dokja quickly turned around. "He won." Jung Haewon smiled lightly while adjusting her sword. "I was late because I lost the coin toss, so don't be too upset." She began walking forward. Dokja then said, "Wait, Haewon. I know what you're thinking," she replied without turning back. "But don't worry. I'm not the one who's going to fight." A massive bolt of lightning struck the battlefield. The surrounding demons screamed in horror as overwhelming pressure descended upon the entire demon realm. Haewon slowly closed her eyes. A notification showed, "Constellation Devil-like Judge of Fire has manifested onto the 73rd demon realm." Guys, there is an important announcement from the ORV production team. They said, "We are deeply sorry to deliver this news again, not long after our previous hiatus. We share this news with great caution as we are well aware how much you all love Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. Our production team is doing our absolute best to ensure we do justice to the original work. In particular, as we intended for Chapter 311 to serve as the finale of Season 1, we have decided that it would be best to take a break for next week. We ask for your generous understanding, and we will repay your patience with the best quality." From the Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint production team. That's the official announcement, guys. We know it's disappointing, but the team is working hard to give us the best adaptation possible. Are you okay with the break or feeling sad about it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned for more ORV updates, and I'll see you in the next video.